How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off.
Have you seen this story about this missing girl in L.A.? Like Hannah something? I can't remember her last. I don't have. This wasn't like something I meant to bring, but it keeps popping up on my TikTok, and she's from Hawaii. Super like beautiful young woman, I think in her 20s maybe, and she was on her way to New York. So she gets off the plane in LA, and I don't know if she was flying with her boyfriend or she was supposed to meet her boyfriend there, but the boyfriend got on the connecting flight to go to New York and she didn't. And so she was texting her family, you know, I missed the flight and so I'm going to have to hang out here for a little bit. And she was just caught on random video cameras here and there. Like she was walking past this LeBron James Nike, I think, shoe release or something. She just happened to get caught on camera. And then a security camera footage caught her. But it's really strange because her family flew up. So her dad, I know her dad and sister flew up. I don't know about the mom, but they flew up to LA to like hit the ground looking for her. This, like she was missing, I think at this point, at least a week. And they're, you know, everyone knows, you know, your family. It's like, oh yeah, sometimes she just does that. But when it's somebody who never ever does that, you know, in your gut, like something's wrong. We need to look into it. So they just came up to start looking. And
none of those cities in California are safe, you know, for anybody. I don't care who you are, dude. Like San Francisco, fucking LA.
Jungle,
any of those big cities by yourself
fucking jungle.
Fucking scary.
They're gonna find this girl in the water tower for sure.
Oh, dude, man. I was thinking the fucking Chinese lady in the elevator kept on looking out.
Well,
the same chick.
Yes, that's the weirdest fucking story. But this one is weird. There's some weirdness here because so her dad has been like searching. He's been all over the news, and just I think yesterday, he jumped off of an overpass and committed suicide.
Oh, no.
In LA, while he was up there like looking for her. They found his body in like a parking garage. And so everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And they still haven't found the girl. And there's more to it, you know, that she was leaving the missing girl was leaving or sending strange text messages back to her family. Like the last few were very strange. It was like, I lost my money. Her. Well, no, like something was just weird. Like she was saying something like, I wish I had it in front of me.
I mean, if you stole somebody's phone, I mean, that's exactly what you'd say, right? Hey, man, I've lost some money. Can you wire me some money?
Yeah.
I need to get, you know, plane tickets or something like that.
Well, she was saying something like, well, she didn't say that she was robbed. She said that she was, it's weird. She was like, she'd making it was kind of incongruent statements. On the one hand, she was saying that she just had some sort of deep, meaningful, spiritual experience. And then like the next text was, I accidentally ended up giving or losing all of my money to somebody. And so I'm going to have to figure something out. And that was kind of like the last thing she sent. And then the family arrived to LA, and then just within a week later, the father commits suicide while looking.
Where were they from?
Hawaii.
The family? Hawaii, okay.
And so the police have this last bit of footage captured with the girl, Hannah, and walking with an unidentified human. I don't even know if they've narrowed it down to if they've released if it's a male or female or whatever it looks like. Like no description. They have the footage.
Skinwalker.
High definition footage of this woman walking down next to one of the train, like the subway or whatever, the railway station there, if you will, like the transfer station, walking next to that area. And then that's the last she's been seen, but police will not release that video. And everyone's like, well, why won't they release that video? I mean, at this point, we're well past, you know, they always say that the 48 hour. Yeah, but it's like, in the interest of finding somebody, know, if she's been abducted, of course, her family's even saying things like, I mean, you know, your mind goes to trafficking and all this stuff. And if she has been abducted, it's like,
That's the first thing that came to my
Wouldn't
mind.
you want the suspect, or at least a potential suspect, to be? I know there are a lot of complications with how they can proceed with certain things, but I don't know. It's crazy because the dad just died, I think, yesterday or the day before.
That's crazy.
And no one's seen her.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like,
well, I know a lot of people in Seattle. This happens a lot more in Seattle, the recent times. But a lot of people on overpasses are throwing like fucking rocks and shit through people's fucking windshields and stuff like that. Insane. Well, what happened? What if that guy kind of like came across a group of people like that and said, "Fuck you, you seen what we did," and they just nab him and throw him off the fucking
Well, that makes
that's not uncommon, dude.
That makes as much
Especially
sense
you
to me.
Identify him.
Suicide in the middle of looking for his daughter, but who knows? The stress of having a missing child is something you couldn't even imagine.
I couldn't imagine, dude. I really
grown
couldn't.
Or otherwise. And so who knows? Maybe he was like that stress and that anguish just sent him into some sort of manic thing, and he made a massive decision like that. But yeah, who knows? He could have been tossed off. So fucking strange. And again, these are people that are not from the area. They're just kind of wandering around, and a lot of where they're wandering around is downtown, and that's not a safe area. And if you don't know where to go and you don't know how to interact with certain people that are from the streets, if you will, yeah, it's really easy to see how you could find yourself being tossed over, and just a coincidence that he's tied to this big story. Just a bunch of fucking shit ass hoods or kids being psychopaths like they are often these days. But anyway, I was just wondering if you saw that. Look into it. It's kind of a little rabbit hole, and I gave you the bullet points, but there's a lot of weird little things that stack up, and it's kind of become, there's always some case. Like it was the Gabby case for a while, and then, all these missing persons, usually a missing woman, and then you suspect a husband or a boyfriend, and then the whole internet goes wild about it. I think this is looking to have all the earmarks of something on that level, but we shall see. There's so much going on in the news right now that, if it was a slow news week, I think it would probably be a bigger thing, but it's all over TikTok. And, because I watch a lot of live streamers, like Duran, of course, he's the one that I heard talking about. I was like, what the fuck story is he talking about? And everybody in his chat seemed to know the story. And I was like, I looked into it, and now that's in my algorithm. So all sorts of things popped up. And then this morning I saw that news that the dad allegedly leaped to his own death. So fucking crazy. Bizarro. Anyway, John Mark hasn't hopped aboard just yet, but my plan is this will be our Thanksgiving, our annual, speak of the dev, our annual Thanksgiving Tomfoodery episode. I always like to do this.
Gobble, gobble.
We'll be releasing this the day before Thanksgiving. I almost said Halloween because that's where my brain thinks we should be in the calendar.
Time warp.
Can't we have a Halloween themed fucking turkey day?
That would be fun.
Wouldn't it?
A Hallows
Giving. I think we should keep it. Yeah.
I think we should start a tradition of Hallows Giving, like a super gothic, like a black turkey. I'd eat a black turkey once a year. But anywho, I've got a whole bunch of food-related stories, some food-related crimes, mostly murder. Some strange and bizarre food-related deaths. I always like to dig some of these up. These are some new ones too. But I have a 3-round game that's all about Thanksgiving. Now the food-related stuff coming up will be not Thanksgiving oriented per se. But I was thinking, since we'll be ending with the traditional weird triv, why don't we start with the game? And we'll dive right into the fun, and then we'll get into some of these disturbing little stories. I'll go through, 15, 20 minutes or so, keeping an eye on the clock, and then we can take a quick break and then end on trivia in the interest of balancing things out a bit so we're not like back-to-back gaming. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great, man.
So the game is going to be, as I mentioned, in 3 epic rounds. The first round is going to be true or false, so you're going to need your phone. So if you don't already have that handy, now is your chance to grab it. And then we'll do something a lot like Weird Triv. I'll be copying Christopher all the way, doing my best impersonation of how I think Christopher might do some of these. I'm not as good as
luck.
I've done it before.
It's not always easy.
It's not always easy. It's never easy. Not for me, but because I've done this before, I've given you guys this quizzes before and with varied success. You're good at making it challenging, but also making it like fun to play along. I think in the past I've made my questions too hard. Like I don't have the ability like you to be like, no, like it's got to be a game. It's got to be fun, and people got to want to play. Like you could come up with 4 answers or 5 questions per show that nobody would get right, but what fun would that be? So this one, I hope I found a balance, but we are also going to take up the caboose with a very brief sort of mini version of elimination. So those are the 3 rounds, and I do think we'll get right on into it. Let me get my scoreboard here. Ooh, that's bright. All right, so you got your phones handy?
Yep.
Put my cigar down here, which is on Forge. All right, true or false? Send me and me only a T or F. True or false? Modern turkeys have such large breasts that they cannot naturally breed.
There'll be a lot of gobble guessing up in here.
Yeah, the true or falses are always kind of guesses. I mean, I guess it all is, unless you explicitly know it. Explicitly. All right, we got all of our answers in. John Mark says true. Lyle says false, and Christopher says true. It is, in fact, true. After so many decades of growth hormones,
they can't fuck on their own.
They've pumped up boob jobs to the point where they prevent them from breeding. Well, it's not the fucking so much. It's like the rest of the mechanisms that require sustaining that life, and they're not correct anymore. Like, we fucked them up. Like, so they all have to be, and these are, not wild turkeys, of course. These are the ones that we raise in captivity right. And just to slaughter.
Butterballs.
Exactly. And we'll be talking more about butterballs later. But so they all actually
I like butter my balls.
They have to be artificially inseminated.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I did not know that either, and I thought that was wild and gross and creepy and troubling, because it's like we can't fucking help ourselves, right? Like, it's not enough
alone
to raise and slaughter these birds to eat them. We got to fuck up their entire species so that we can squeeze out a few more nickels per bird. It's not right. It ain't right. All right, so Christopher and John Mark both got a point, and we are rocking and rolling. Next, true or false? Baby turkeys are called rascals. True or false?
You fucking little rascal.
With a rascal.
Get in my belly, little rascal.
Ooh, my little rascal.
With a rascal.
I wonder how old they are when they gobble. Like the first gobble. If it sounds like a baby gobble. All right, I got Christopher and John Marks.
Turkeys are gross.
Turkeys are kind of kooky animals, yeah.
Well, they got that snot rocket thing that changes colors, and then they're gobbler.
It's kind of like
they look like aliens.
If you really break down their head, it's kind of like they have both male and female genitalia represented on that one head, right? Like,
represent.
There's balls. There's a clit-looking thing that gets tossed to the side. There's danglers.
Changes colors.
Veiny things. Some purpley things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Turkeys are weird. But a lot of the animals that we eat are kind of fugly. I think cows are one of the cutest things. I guess chickens are kind of cute, but they're monsters. Like, if you own and watch chickens, they're impressive little creatures. Okay, so John Mark and Lyle both said false. Christopher said true. It is, in fact, false. Baby turkeys are called poults, which I can only imagine that the way it's spelled is short for poultry. Poults.
I thought they were like just chickadees or chickadones.
I almost got crazier with it, but I like rascals. I think we should switch it, because who even knows poults? That's kind of a tough one. You'd have to really know some turkey trivia, but I'm kind of surprised I didn't know that either. baby.
You'd have to know some Little Rascal action too. You have to old enough to watch those black and white shows back in the day.
Well, I feel like they look like rascals.
Little rascals.
All right, moving on. Number 3, question 3. True or false? Turkeys can run over 25 miles per hour, which would be faster than Usain Bolt. True.
Or chicken shit. No, I guess they're not chicken. They're turkey shit. Turkey shit.
Hey, turkey shit.
I meant, chicken shit.
Okay, looks like all of you said true. Well, it is, in fact, true. Did you guys know that, or are you just kind of taking a stab at it here?
They're fast. They're fast.
I have never seen a turkey.
I was kind of guessing, but I figured, I can probably run pretty fast.
Yeah, dude. I remember the first time I seen a turkey. It was up in Indiana Valley, and we were house sitting. It was the whole family. It was me, my sister, and my parents. Mm-hmm. We were house sitting for a friend up there, and because they were going on vacation for the first time. And it doesn't matter. But they raised animals, and they had like turkeys and chickens and all that shit, and dirt bikes, which caught my eye. I was like, oh, let me get one of those running. And I did, and rode the shit out of it. But I remember seeing that motherfucker, and they're just angry, and they look angry. They change colors on you, and that even fucking wigs you out. But they are very fast, because I tried outrunning one, and I could not do it. It was on my heels.
Well, see, we had turkeys. I never saw them run. We had one female and one giant male that my dad loved. He named him Lurch. He was a fucking dummy. He knocked over he had a white water bowl or feed bowl. He knocked it upside down, and I think I told this story before, and he thought it was a giant egg, so he went broody. Like he sat on it and went broody. First of all, he forgot that he couldn't really have eggs, and it's not their job to be broody. But he sat on that thing. My dad was freaking out because he loved that turkey, and he finally because he wouldn't get out of the fucking kennel. Or the coop. So he finally pulled him off and saw this giant gleaming thing that looked like an egg. And he's like, you dummy. so he took his giant egg baby away, and Lurch was a little confused for a while, but eventually back out in the yard with all the other animals. But it just blows my mind. I can picture the Olympics. Like Usain Bolt, like I said, in one lane, a turkey in the other lane.
Bloodthirsty turkey in the other one.
The gun goes off, and it's neck and neck. Like he could win by a turkey neck. He probably would. He could probably stretch it out and maybe get
that gobbler bouncing around. He might get that winning photo.
The gobbler bouncing around. And he wins by a gobbler.
By a gobbler.
I have such a hard time imagining that, but apparently it's true.
Photo finish.
All right, so it is Christopher 2 to John Mark 3 and Lyle 2. I could have said that better, but lots of questions to go here. We're almost past the true or false section. But number 4, every year from November 1st to December 30th, the Butterball Hotline is available for anyone needing help with their holiday butterballs. True or false? In recent years, Butterball Hotline phone operators have had to start getting entry-level therapy training due to so many people calling in to talk about their holiday stressors. Is this true?
Oh, no.
Or false?
Oh, no, Ronster.
Butterball Hotline.
All I see is butterballs when I close my eyes.
My tip is to put butter in between the flesh and the skin.
Between the balls.
Do you use like one of them injectors?
To butter my balls.
This baster looks like something my mama has in her top drawer, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use it.
All right. Well, Christopher says false. John Mark and Lyle both say true. It is, in fact, false. I totally made that up.
Damn it.
But you can kind of see it happening, right? Like somebody
sounds like
Ron. Oh, no, Ron.
I would not be surprised.
Should I call the Butterball Hotline?
Right now?
Let's see what it is.
Eugene, I got a question.
Put it on speakerphone.
I will.
But when they ask you questions, answer truthfully.
Ask them if they have.
I'm unwell. You just start crying.
Ask them if they have health care. And does their insurance cover their
Oh, we're supposed to be doing a Depends diaper challenge at this point.
Oh yeah, I have mine on. Are you ready, Ron?
Yeah,
sure, me too.
Okay,
I was prepped.
Listen.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're sorry, that was not a valid response. Please try again. To be connected to our Butterball Turkey Talk line, for information on turkey preparation and cooking assistance, press or say 3. If you have a product question, our turkey experts are not in the office at this time. Please call back Monday through Friday.
Oh, that makes sense.
In the hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
The fucking porn music starts playing. You've reached the Butter My Balls hotline.
Welcome. Come on in.
Get your turkey stuffed. Oh boy, I might have to call that tomorrow and just record to see what it is. It's like, I'm probably gonna feel like completely clueless of what to say. Like, so what are you wearing? You working on turkey right now? What's doing?
Are you psychologically fucking impaired from your job working with turkeys?
Okay,
right.
Well, we got a tight game here. Christopher and John Mark are now tied at 3, and Lyle is right behind with 2. Let's move on to. Yeah, go ahead.
What did the tomato say to the other tomato? Catch up. I gotta catch up. See?
You do got to catch up, but not by much. You can do it with this last true or false question here. Both male, try that again. Both male and female turkeys gobble. True or false?
Gobbly.
Well, fuck me.
I'm gonna go.
Did I tell you guys while we're tallying this one?
Mm-hmm.
My answer. Did I tell you? I can't remember if I told you on the last podcast my great Star Wars dad joke. Oh,
we can hear it.
I don't think
All right,
so.
here you go. What did Yoda say the first time he saw himself on Blu-ray 4K?
What?
HDMI.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Did you make that one up, Chris?
Oh no, I'm not that good. Oh my God. HDMI, fuck off.
I don't get it. What's the HD part?
Like
HDMI is the cable, the connection.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was like hot dick or something. I don't know. HDMI.
HDMI.
The hardest of dicks. Oh,
My God, wow.
Definition such. I gotta tell you.
I mean,
that
I'd stroke myself to that.
I just ordered one of the nerdiest things that a fella could order. You know how I love my old TVs, like the old ones. I got a few of them back from everyone thinks they're from the 60s or 70s. Most of them from the 80s. But I just like having them somewhere. You know, we used them as signage at radar station and just the static, and I'd put letters over the front of them. But I have wanted for years to get the necessary materials to run Roku through one of those, so I can just watch all my shit through an old black and white, grainy, old school TV. And I finally did the research, and it turns out I only needed one $15 part. And so that arrives tomorrow or Wednesday, and I am so excited. And I did buy a new Roku just to specifically be for that one because I didn't want to switch it over to my other TV.
Right.
Cool, man. Watch something on the big screen, but I am super stoked to be watching Roku on my old black and white TV.
Just to throw it in your ear, you remember those old console TVs?
Mm-hmm.
There's still one of those down in my parents' basement. Yeah.
If you got 18 men that can move it.
Yeah, no shit. Those things.
Well, I used to roll it up and down those stairs. It's not the first one.
Must be in great condition.
Well, no, I mean, there's stairs, and it's easier just to roll the shit down, until you get it, on its wheels, and then fucking roll it. But I know it works because it wouldn't be down there if it didn't work.
Well, those would be. Was it a color?
Bedroom. I don't remember.
That's the shit that you want to hook up your old NES stuff
but
to.
You could,
if you really,
if you really want to, you could put it in black and white. You know?
Well, I don't mind color. I just like the old CT TVs or CRT.
That's what I need to fucking do because I've been playing a lot of NES and SNES on like my big 75-inch HDMI fucking TV, and it's great.
Quality.
But it doesn't feel. I want to see it on what I know it from.
It is great. I mean, it's nice to just play the games. But when you go from that to a CRT TV, you're like, oh fuck yeah! And you can find them out there. You know, all you need is one with the little RCA jacks, and you're rocking and rolling. And those are much cheaper than the older ones because the older ones look cool. What you want is the ones from the 90s that nobody wanted, but that's changing, because people have caught on. Like there's something retro gaming is so much better on those TVs. Even if it's a small TV, it just looks and feels right. Immediately, everything looks right.
Well, I remember playing Atari, back in the day, and that was it was a way more of a sling when you're going into trying to play it on a TV, because you have to have an adapter,
like
the little game remote. Yeah. You'd have that one switch that went game to TV. Yeah. Your mode. And you really needed it to have it to work proper. And
there's everything.
Just dying technology, man. They're really hard to find.
All right, well, let's get back to the game here. So the question was, both male and female turkeys gobble. So John Mark said true. Christopher and Lyle said false. It is false. Only males gobble.
Gobble. Yeah.
And the noise that female turkeys make, they just call it cackling because it's more like what a chicken makes, but they don't do the. That's the dudes. I'm learning a lot about turkeys when I was researching this. It's like I feel like some of this stuff I should have known, but I didn't.
Are you thinking you're gonna own one or something?
Gonna own a turkey? Well, who knows the way I fucking live. I end up with so many animals. It probably will be a matter of time before I have my own fucking lurch down there trying to hatch a bowl.
It'll be like 2 weeks. The fucking turkey's gonna show up. Be like, fuck, Lyle.
God damn it! I heard we were looking for some trouble and friendship. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, you could get your dad to babysit. When you're just doing shit. Hey, man, you want to stop by the house and
take care of my turkey?
See your grandson.
You'd be like, oh, I'm on my way.
Lurch the second. If I named it Lurch the second, he'd be like, I'm there every day. Yep, every fucking day. All right, well, this ended up nice because John Mark and Lyle are tied for second. We have a clear winner. So we have our order. We're going to go Christopher first for the trivia. You can put your phones down. The rest is multiple choice for a while. So Chris is going to go first, and then we'll just go John, Mark, and Lyle because that's how I have you guys written here. So Christopher, first up, what percentage of people put the stuffing into the turkey for Thanksgiving? And this is not a trick question. I'm not trying to get tricky with the wording. So technically it's called dressing if you don't stuff the bird with it, right? So we're looking for what percentage of Americans actually stuff the bird with the stuffing.
What is it like? Closest to the right numbers? Can I get this right?
I got it. We're in multiple choice land now. So.
Oh, okay.
Is it A, 15%, B, 25%, C, 50%, or D, 75% of Americans actually stuff the bird with the stuffing?
Okay, so I pick, and then what happens if I'm right? Do I know I'm right away?
Everyone else, we're doing it like weird triv at this point.
Oh, okay. But you ran over this.
But I'll let you know.
I feel so weird on the other side here.
It is weird.
All right, I'm gonna go with 50%. Fuck it.
You're gonna do 50. Okay.
Yeah, it feels right. I don't fucking do that. Nobody I hang out with does that, but I've seen it done. I know people do it.
Yeah.
Seems important. It's called fucking stuffing.
I feel like I see it done very infrequently, but yeah. But I'm not. But I don't go to many Thanksgivings. I've only seen a few families' Thanksgivings.
Yeah. Oh, goddamn, Chris. Got me thinking now.
Got me thinking. Yeah, John Mark, what do you think? 15%, 25%, 50%, or 75% of all Americans stuff their stuffing into the bird as God intended it?
15, 25, 50, or 75?
Yep.
I don't know. My finger is not on the pulse of.
No, this is definitely a guessy one.
I'm gonna go with 15.
15%. Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely
bold, right? That could be real. Yeah.
Yeah. It all. Yeah. Well, Lyle, you go ahead and guess.
I'll tell you how it goes. So ever since I could remember, we've always done turkeys. I mean, outside of like growing up and being outside of the parents, having Thanksgiving at the parents' house. Every Thanksgiving that we've done since then, I mean we is like me and my brother, when we'll do a Thanksgiving dinner, is typically we will take the bird and deep fry it.
Yep.
And we'll deep fry too. So
Outside,
guess what? Well, yes, but you're not using any stuffing.
You're not putting
there.
Stuffing in that one,
huh? Stuffing is used basically to keep the meat moist, and so you don't dry out your bird. So
now?
To keep your meat moist, and so you do not
have the
dry out your bird. Because if you ever had a real dry, nasty bird,
I have.
Always keep your meat moist to not dry out your bird. That is so good.
And true.
And true.
So you got that. So you got people that are like, okay, well, I'm going to do it the traditional way and make sure my meat's moist and fucking, put the stuffing in.
Yeah. Cram it in.
So, and we've already been through one step of process that doesn't use any at all.
Yeah.
To my second one that we don't use any at all, and that's when you take a bird and you spatchcock the bird. That's where you break the chest bone. You kind of cut the bird up a little bit.
I think I know that term.
You crack the chest bone.
Uh-huh.
And it lays flat.
You basically flatten it.
Yeah, and you want to do that when you're cooking in a smoker or a Traeger. That's the best way to do a turkey because it's evenly cooked. You don't have hot or cold spots in the bird. Like if you have it complete. So you spatchcock the thing, you slap it down flat, and that bird will shrink significantly compared to how it would sit in there normally. So there's a second way, that you're doing it. So I'm going to go 50% of the people still use stuffing to keep their meat moist. And the rest of us are just fucking off the grid, I guess, doing it the right way. I highly recommend doing a bird on a Traeger and spatchcocking it because it's awesome. It's delicious.
This is the best conversation of all time. Well, it is, in fact, 50%.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's high.
Half y'all are stuffing them shits. I was surprised. I would have guessed.
I feel like that's high.
I would have gone with 15, I think. And it's tricky. And, it's tougher. It's a trickier step. You can just make stuffing all by itself. But a lot of people do prefer the taste and the texture of the stuffing over the dressing. Moving right along. So just a quick tally. Christopher's still in the lead with 5. John Mark has 3 and Lyle has 4. Anybody's game here. Question 2. One of these facts about Thanksgiving is true. The others I made up. Taking a feather out of Christopher's turkey here. Which Thanksgiving day or which Thanksgiving fact is true? A. More people watch Christmas movies on Thanksgiving than they do on Christmas. B. In 1987, Japan started its own version of Thanksgiving because turkey has become quite popular and is considered a delicacy over there. C. In the 1970s, Swanson, makers of the TV dinner, briefly sold tiny one-use ovens that came with the meal packed right inside. Just plug in and wait. Unfortunately, they started to burn houses down, and they were quickly discontinued. Or D, people consume more alcohol on Thanksgiving Eve than on New Year's Eve. Those are very wordy answers. Let me know if you need a rundown there. And you need to guess which one is true. The others I made up.
These are good. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
It's the one you made up, right?
You're looking for the one that I made up.
Okay.
Or no. You're looking for the one. You're looking for the one that's true. Sorry.
I really want to go with we as a society consume more alcohol on Thanksgiving Eve, which I used to refer to as Drunksgiving, might I add.
Watching Die Hard. What?
I just can't imagine being hungover on Thanksgiving because that would, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be rough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the movie one though. I like that. I like that. That kind of, these holidays start to blend a little bit, and I'm already feeling a little Christmassy right now for certain. So yeah, I like that. You're with your family, you want to watch something. Great Thanksgiving movies, right? But there's a shitload of fucking Christmas flicks that have like a Thanksgiving meal in them, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah, and they usually do have a turkey dinner in most the Christmas movies.
To the ham.
All right, Christopher's going with A. John Mark, what say you? Need a rundown of the answers real quick?
Yeah, real quick.
A, more people watch Christmas movies on Thanksgiving than they do on Christmas. B, in 1987, Japan started its own version of Thanksgiving. C, in the 1970s, Swanson, makers of the TV dinner, briefly sold tiny one-use ovens that came packed with the meal right inside. Or D, people consume more alcohol on Thanksgiving Eve than on New Year's Eve.
And one of these things is true.
Yeah, you want the one that's true. I made up the rest. One of these things is not like the
other. Just isn't the same. I don't know. I kind of like the logic of the Christmas movie thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't fucking know. I'm gonna go with the Japan one. Yeah. Why not?
The Japan one. Yep. They invented their own Thanksgiving. Okay. And what say you, Lyle?
I'm going to say if you got any type of family in a room, there's people going to be drinking, and that's okay. Because, all you're going to miss out on is football on the Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And you can watch that hangover. You could probably power on through it and just, drink a little more.
As long as you're not super hungover, you'll be fine by lunch or dinner time. Nibble on some turkey. The little taters in your gut might actually be a good booze bomb.
Get yourself one of those fucking goddamn turkey sandwiches, man, with some cheese and mayo. Oh, no.
Kiss of cranberry. I love me a Thanksgiving sandwich. Well, interesting. Lyle is absolutely right. That was the true one. People do consume actually a lot more alcohol on Thanksgiving Eve than on New Year's Eve, according to two sources. I had to look that up because it didn't seem right to me. But I will say, unlike New Year's, Thanksgiving is a holiday that tends to bring people over the passes, through the woods, to grandma's house we go. And so they do tend to be like little family reunions. So I could see how that could play into, well, we're not going out drinking. We're not going to a big fiesta or, a big fancy gala. But we're staying home getting shit-faced because ain't nobody got to work, and we're just going to lay around and eat and, like Lyle said, watch football. So, but that does seem to be true. Well, Lyle, you are now tied with Christopher for first place, 5 apiece. John Mark, you got a little catching up to do at this point, but quite a few more questions to go. You're at 3. Next question. What celebrity famously once said, "I love Thanksgiving turkey. It's the only time in Los Angeles that you see natural breasts"? Although we know otherwise now after that couple stories back. Is it A, Andrew Dice Clay, B, Arnold Schwartz, C, Hugh Hefner, or D, Eddie fucking Money?
Money.
Oh, Ron, you son of a bitch.
I bet that's
turning the tables.
I bet that's really disorienting for you.
Oh, wow. I respect the shit out of that. And if it wasn't so bizarre, I'd pick it. But I'm gonna go with Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay. All right, John Mark, who do you believe said, "I love Thanksgiving turkey. It's the only time in Los Angeles you see natural breasts"?
But can you do it in Schwarzenegger's voice for me, just for shits and giggles?
"I love Thanksgiving turkey. It's the only time in Los Angeles you see natural breasts. Traffic.
Just bouncy."
What were the options? What were the options again?
Swing set. No.
What?
Andrew Dice Clay, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hugh Hefner, or Eddie fucking Money? Them there's 2 tickets that don't bounce right.
No. Because the Thanksgiving.
I don't know. Let's go with Hugh Hefner. Who knows?
Going with Hugh Hefner.
I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Oh, I know.
Lyle, what say you?
Oh, I know. You know who I'm going to take? I'm going to take Hugh Hefner. You know why?
Why?
Because he was a ladies' man. You understand?
It was something like that.
That's
Yeah.
one way to
and
call
it's
him.
something like that. He would say that. He'd say, "No, man, all these boobies around here are all fake."
Man. Yeah, but he
But
loved
the turkey boobies, those
He did
turkey
love
boobies
those
are
fake
nice and plump, ready for me.
Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble. You should have said, who was that one? All right, all right.
Matthew
Oh, Matt McConaughey.
That'd be all right.
That was one thing I like about these natural breasts.
They always, I always get older and they always stay young, you know.
Well, I wish I could say that it was D. Eddie fucking Money. Unfortunately, none of you chased the green herring. But I did stump you here. It was, in fact, Arnold Schwartz. Yeah.
Damn it.
No reason.
He sounds like a pissed off Sasquatch that couldn't
Stuff your
rape you.
tits like a bird. Okay, so no score change there. Next question. According to historians, which one of these items was not part of the original Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, the Indians.
A, cranberries. B, pumpkin pie. C, corn. Or D, lobster.
Corn.
This is a little fucked up because, like,
Lobsters.
you immediately want to say lobster, but
It happened on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
The first
True.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Gotta think about
you
the
want
time
to say
and the place.
corn was there because, like, oh my gosh, my stupidity is going to come through. So I'm going to stop talking.
When did
I know.
when did farming
It's okay.
start?
Just join us.
But like, what was
Give me
the
your
first
hand,
one?
Chris. I'll walk you through this.
It's cranberries, pumpkin pie, corn, or lobster.
Porn.
Corn.
I'm torn between cranberries and pumpkin pie, which couldn't be further from the truth in real life. I love cranberries. I just feel like cranberry.
I'm not really. A
Was
fan of cranberry.
was that so widely enjoyed at that time, or pumpkin pie? Oof. Fuck
Right.
it. I'm gonna go. I really want to go with cranberry. I'm gonna go pumpkin pie though. I'm gonna go pumpkin pie.
You're going the pumpkin pie was not part of the original Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Mark?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too.
Going with pumpkin pie. And Lyle, we're making it a family game here.
See, my problem is that I'm actually in my head I'm thinking of the Headless Horseman, you know, and Sleepy Hollow and all that stuff. in my
Trying to
head.
go back to that era? Uh-huh.
Because I'm trying to go back to that era, and God, it seemed to me like that Headless Horseman had a fucking pumpkin head. I know it's fake and fictitious, but if it was real, it would be around that time.
I just sent you this picture because literally the same moment that you said cranberries, I saw this picture on my Facebook feed.
And Lyle literally just said, because in your head, or no, maybe it was Chris that said it, but I was like, oh, that's a cranberries reference. Weird. In your head.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go cranberries. Get them out of here. They weren't here. Indians
never existed, huh?
Nope.
Interesting. Well, John Mark and
probably
Christopher are absolutely right. There was no pumpkin pie. Now, there was pumpkins. There were pumpkins present at the dinner, but other materials like the right grain and certainly sugar and other ingredients that they needed to make it would not have been anywhere near what they were carrying with them. So,
what if it was a really, really shitty pie?
well, they probably ate pumpkin because pumpkins were all over, especially on that part of the
pumpkin
country.
Seeds. You could always bake pumpkin seeds. They're always good.
But no pumpkin pie. All right, so that puts Christopher back in the lead with 6. John Mark still in the caboose with 4, and Lyle at 5. Next question. Over 50 million pumpkin pies are eaten every Thanksgiving, but it's not the most popular pie for Tea Day. Which pie is number 1?
That pink pie.
A, pink pie.
Oh my God.
Is it A,
Oh no.
apple pie, B,
apple pie,
pecan pie, C, peach pie, or D, chocolate pie?
It's apple pie. It's gotta be apple pie.
Chris is going with apple pie. Is the number one Thanksgiving pie. John Mark?
I'm gonna go with that too.
Apple? Apple, everybody?
You're going with apple. You going with apple too, Lau?
I think so.
Scrappled apple.
I crave
That's the only one you can put cheese on.
Well, apple.
I keep thinking about this. I can't stop. You and Ron both recommended that, right?
Cheese?
Yeah.
Putting a slice of cheddar on
I was
your
late.
apple pie.
I was late to it.
Yep.
Just like cheddar?
Especially because you like pineapple on pizza. Like it's a similar.
I gotta try it.
It's a similar thing. It's different. It's different.
I'm doing
but
it this
similar.
Thursday.
Yeah,
I'm reporting back.
I think you'll be a changed person. I think you'll still enjoy apple pie without
and
cheese.
Don't melt it on. Just like the slice of cold cheese.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's It's almost like cheesecake. Like it's just something happens with that little bit of tartness in the cheddar, sharpness, and oh no, it's good. Well, you all went with the right answer. It was indeed apple pie. But to me, the more surprising thing was that it's not even close. Like it's way more popular, and it's followed by pecan and then chocolate. So pumpkin is number 4. Chocolate pie is more popular at Thanksgiving dinners than pumpkin. I don't feel like I've ever seen chocolate pie, and my family loves chocolate. But
yeah.
So is pumpkin pie a hoax?
Sounds right.
No, I love pumpkin pie. I think
me too, dude. I fucking love it. But it's like
I used to go get the big cans of pumpkin pie filling and just fucking eat it.
If it's not, if it's not like, if it's not the flavor, the most popular Thanksgiving one, which is I was associated with Thanksgiving. I don't associate it with Christmas or anything. So then, what is it then?
Well, see, if I would have asked you what the most popular pie without queuing anything up, wouldn't you guess either pumpkin or pecan?
I would
apple.
say.
You would. So Christopher would guess apple no matter what.
Yeah,
I don't feel like we've ever had apple pie at our Thanksgivings, but it makes sense. I mean, it jives with so many of the flavors on the table. Way more than pumpkin.
It's kind of the end of the season too. I mean, because you're at the very tail end of apple season anyway. So if you have an orchard or something like that, you're going to want to discard the bad ones or the semi close to bad ones, and you just make pie out of it.
Pie it up, bitch.
And then like do whatever you're going to do to the other ones. Like,
so no score change. Well, the score changed, but no position change here. This is the last of the multiple choice. And this is, let's see. So make sure I got those down here. All right. So the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, of course. 3 of these facts are made up about Black Friday. One is true, and that's the one you want to guess. A, plumbing appointments go through the roof due to all that food gorging being flushed down the toilet.
Plug the toilet.
B, heart attacks skyrocket with an increase of almost 60% on Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, stress.
C, domestic violence between couples more than doubles.
Damn.
Or D, it's a very popular day to hop in the sack and try to make a baby on purpose.
Baby.
No way. I'm like, I've got baby belly, leave, no touch.
I'm feeling pregnant.
We're guessing the one that's true.
Yep. Plumbing appointments go through the roof, heart attacks skyrocket, domestic violence increases, or a popular day to conceive a child or to try to conceive a child.
I'm going to go with plumbing appointments.
You're going to go with plumbing appointments. All right. John Mark, what say ye?
Heart attacks.
Heart attacks skyrocket with an increase of almost 60%. And Lau, what say you?
Well, what's after heart attacks?
Domestic violence between couples more than doubles.
Yeah, right.
And then the last one is
I can see that. Let's go with that one. Let's go with the fighting. I can see it. Why not?
Let's go with fighting.
Well, couldn't fool Christopher on the brown herring there. It was, in fact,
I have a
plumbing appointments go through the roof.
I have a bit of an advantage with some of this because I've done this story and it's called Brown Friday. If I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense that you've done this story. Brown Friday. Oh, that's great. Yeah, well, it's like it sounds made up, but if you think about it, it's not just the extra calories consumed and then you have the leftovers. Most of us only have a few meals a day, but on Thanksgiving, it's kind of a day of just gorge. And before you're even hungry again, you're going back for those leftovers. And then you got desserts, and a lot of us don't eat desserts on a regular basis. But I was thinking about it. The one thing that probably makes this a bigger deal is that, like I said, this is a holiday where people travel, and suddenly, instead of 3 or 4 people pooping in your toilets, there are potentially 20 or so.
15.
And they're all staying there, and they're all eating a shit ton of food and jacking up your fucking toilets. And so not too hard to imagine that scenario. Well, this is interesting. So Christopher is in a commanding lead right now. He has 8 to John Mark's 5 to Lyle's 6. So we're going to move on to we're going to do this abbreviated round of elimination because we got so many other things we got to get to, but we are only doing one episode tonight. So we'll make it a bit of a longer one. Wayside. So this is the list. Take a look at that. So I know at some point in the past, we did the most popular Thanksgiving side dishes as voted by Ranker. Well, this is the most hated Thanksgiving side dishes as voted by Ranker. So you are seeing the top 10 there, I believe, maybe top 15. I can't remember what the count is, but it doesn't matter because we're only looking for, since this is an abbreviated round, the top 5. And this is looking perfect right now for anybody to catch up to Christopher. But if you don't do it quickly, it's going to be game over pretty quick because Christopher is first up because he won both rounds. We'll just keep it in the same order here. So
this is tough. This is very good.
It is tough. And I would not have done well with this. I mean, a couple of my picks are definitely in the top 5, but not how I would have arranged it at all.
God, this is tough. I'm gonna go with Brussels sprouts. I think a lot of people dislike Brussels sprouts.
Yes,
personally,
Brussels sprouts are something that I don't even think I even tried until I was in my 30s. And I actually think they're quite delicious, especially wrapped in bacon. But what isn't? Well, this is a good opportunity for John, Mark, and Lyle because Brussels sprouts is just out of the top 5. So lots of opportunity here, John Mark. You could do well getting anything in the top 3. Be right back in it against Chris.
I'm going to go with Jell-O salad.
Jell-O salad would definitely be high on my last to ever try on planet Earth. But and that was a great one to pick because in one fell swoop, you are now in the lead because that was worth 5 fucking points as number 1.
Who doesn't like Jell-O salad? It's just Jell-O and whipped cream. Fucking Christ.
Well, and don't they usually put marshmallows in there? And
it depends on what part of the country you're in, what they put in that Jell-O salad. You could have shaved carrots in there, fucking raisins.
It's true.
Mayonnaise.
And Jell-O itself is just, I don't know. Jell-O is challenging for me. That's a very special treat. The only way I actually used to like Jell-O was taking the packet and pouring it in some water and heating it up in the microwave and drinking it. It's fucking delicious. I know that sounds weird, but it's just like super sweet, soothing
viscous
tea. It's so good. Well, it's before it gets, you can water it down however you want. But anyway, wow, huge poll. Now you're only ahead by 2 points, so don't panic, Chris. Lyle, you could do the same thing here and even pull ahead further by getting number 2.
I'm going to go with cream corn.
Oh, that's a good guess. That would have been one of my first guesses, too.
Pretty nasty. I wouldn't want it.
I ended up liking it, too, in later years. But cream corn is actually the very last on this list. Yeah, it surprised me.
You got a shitty list.
All right, Chris.
Shitty list, Ron.
That list is clogging the toilet.
Yeah. Shit ass list.
All right, Chris. You only need 2 points to tie it up, but you can pull ahead.
I'm gonna go with. I know that this is widely beloved, but I also know some people don't like it, and that is green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole is very
you do it all right.
polarizing. I think it's the appearance. There's a lot of gray and a lot of pale green, and it just doesn't look like food. But it is kind of delicious if you can get past that. Unfortunately, it is number 9 on the list, so it didn't score any points. So, all right, John Mark, if you get number 2, we might be done here. We'll do a couple more. Well, no, we'll. Chris would still have a couple opportunities to pass you, but number 2 here would be key.
I'm going to go with olives.
Interesting.
That's a great guess.
Because
you guys on Team
I've always fucking loved olives, but in recent times, I feel like I've encountered more and more people that seem to fucking hate olives. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But to each their own. But it seems like it's more common to hate olives than I previously imagined.
I don't know, on a pizza, fucking put it in my sandwich. Fucking.
I wonder if it's because olives have gotten fancier. Because when we were kids, there was olives. It was like black olives, and occasionally someone would have green olives, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is that garbage?" Of course, I could eat an entire jar of green olives. I would immediately be killed. But I love green olives. But as a kid, I was huge into black olives. You know, I did the classic thing. You put them on your fingers, you wiggle them around, and then you eat them in front of Nana, and she laughs, and you ask for a prize in her purse, etc. I miss my grandparents. Well, unfortunately, that is number 6, just outside of a scoring zone. So, Chris, you're still in it. Lyle, you're definitely going to need something in that top 2.
Something I hate on there that I honestly hate the most, and I'm going to get a lot of flack about it because you guys all love it, it seems. But I find it even with my family and close relatives that come around for Thanksgiving. They tend to stray away from it too because it's fucking disgusting. But it's cranberry sauce.
I thought that's where you were headed. I love it, but I only love it with Thanksgiving stuff. I only love it on turkey and ham. And
I can't have it. I just pass
I get it.
Up.
I get it.
I love it. Year round, I'll eat that.
It is polarizing though, and you're right. But it is.
I think it's the same idea as in kind of an opposite way as the cheese on the pie thing with the cranberry sauce with the turkey and the gravy. So it's like the sweet, savory kind of the combination of the stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it is kind of traditional, but like for me personally, I fucking can't stand it.
Well, unfortunately, it was just outside of the scoring zone. So. Another big opportunity. If this score doesn't change in the next couple of rounds, we're going to have to call it. But I think, Chris, you'll probably have a pretty good shot at getting one of these. And at least
I want to go with one of my least favorite fucking foods, and that is yams.
Yeah, yams, very interesting food and very polarizing. And that is number 4, which is worth 2 and brings you back to tie. With John Mark, you are at 10 apiece. This has been a close fucking game. All right, John Mark, we got number 2 and number 3 and number 4 on the list. All you need is number 4 because that's worth 1. If Christopher whiffs on the next one, we'll see how this goes, though. Take a stab.
There's a handful. There's a few that are it's the same thing where it's like you think like, oh, like everybody loves that, but it's like no, and then you discover people actually hate this.
Well, everybody loves nothing. It's always surprising. I mean, mashed potatoes was further down on this list. It's not out in the top 10, but it wasn't far out of the top 10. So people hate taters.
I love potatoes. Mashed potato. Oh, you know what's really good is those double baked potatoes. Oh
yeah, twice
baked potatoes.
Twice baked, twice shy.
Let's go with I don't know. Pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup is a good guess. I don't believe I've ever seen that at my Thanksgivings, but it was not on the scoring list, just outside. So, Lyle, you could still, let's see, where are you? You have 6. If you get number 2, you're in the lead.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say butternut squash.
And you are in the lead.
Butternut
squash is good today.
I almost went with that. I almost went with that, but I was like, I think more people like squash than pumpkin soup because I don't hear pumpkin soup too much. So I don't know. Maybe whatever.
Well, if you would have chosen it, I think it would have been game over mathematically. So this is interesting. Lyle is now in the lead, but we still have a 3-pointer and a 1-pointer, and Lyle is only in the lead by 1. So this ended up being a very interesting score. So Chris, you got to get at least number 4.
I'm gonna go with stuffing. I think that I've heard a lot of people complain about stuffing.
Oh.
Yeah, I have too.
Stuffing's good. I could eat it just by itself.
Well, there's so many varieties. You know, some people put walnuts in them. Some people put
besides
water chestnuts, raisins, and
oysters.
Ew. Get it out of here.
Unfortunately, stuffing was just outside the list. It's in 8, just outside the scoring list. So, John Mark, let's see if we'll give you one more chance here. We'll see what happens.
So who went with stuffing? Chris?
Chris went with stuffing. Mm-hmm. You just need 1 point to tie. And I do have a tiebreaker if that's
whipped
where we
sweet
end.
Potatoes, green beans, gravy. I'm going to go with whipped sweet potatoes.
Whipped sweet potatoes is number 3, which is worth 3, which gives you 13 to Lyle's 11 to Christopher's 10. So we're going to do another round. Chris, you have one last chance because you can tie. As long as you can tie, we'll keep going. And I think this will be the last round. Unless you all miss. Well, wait a minute. Can you tie?
No.
I don't think you can because now...
There's only one left, right?
There's only one left. You're right. I crossed out the wrong one. But for shits and giggles...
I'm going to go with...
Well, it's my turn, isn't it?
Oh, isn't it? I thought... Oh.
Or you just wiping me out of the game?
No. Yeah, Lyle's turn.
Oh, okay.
I guess gravy, dude. There's only 2 other answers.
Gravy is not on the list.
I can't believe it being on the list. Jesus. Gravy's the best.
I know.
It's like a condiment. You put it on everything.
Yeah.
You dip your biscuits in it. You could put it on your potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gravy's the shit. Oh, biscuits and gravy the next day? Oh, my goodness.
All right, Chris. Well, we've already said that you can't win, but you may as well take one more guess. See if you can get it.
Is green beans the only thing left?
I think one of the potato ones. Maybe the whipped sweet.
There's one more left. That's a score. Just 1 point, but you can't win. But you can tie with Lyle for second.
Well, gravy's been done. Pumpkin soup's been done. Whipped sweet potatoes. It's just green beans, right?
I think so.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know.
Green beans.
Green beans is just outside the list. So number 5 was sweet potato casserole.
Oh, why did I miss that?
Well, you might have because there was already a sweet potato thing there. And I almost pulled sweet potato casserole out and just bumped another one up. But I decided to stick that in because why not? Well, that was an exciting game. Christopher dominated until John Mark got that number fucking 2 just when he needed it most.
It's like number two. So such
10 to 13 to 11 after all of that is pretty amazing. You guys did a good job.
Did you guys see the thing I posted on Facebook the other day about the Thanksgiving pizza?
Yeah, how was that?
Actually pretty fucking delicious, honestly. I would eat it again. If I had room in my freezer, I'd buy 3 or 4 for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like eating Thanksgiving dinner without any sort of mashed potato sides or potato sides, but it was like the crust sort of served as the stuffing, if you will, and the sauce was gravy. There was green beans on there and
weird.
Roasted turkey.
What was the crust like? Was it bready or rolly? Or?
So it was like a Detroit style, which is a thicker kind of breadier crust, but it was actually very light and fluffy. Honestly, I was surprised at how sort of fluffy and light it was when it came fresh out of the oven. So if you see one at Fred Meyer, pick one up if you're into eating like weird food combinations.
I love that shit. Well, it's not that far away from a TV dinner.
One of my favorite pizzas to get is like a spinach with white sauce, and you look at it and go gross, dude, but like it's actually pretty good.
White sauce phase.
Yeah, well, it doesn't taste like a pizza, a traditional pizza.
It mixes it up.
It tastes good.
They used to do I went through a big phase where I loved Papa Murphy's. Papa Murphy's gets a lot of shit, and I know it's not like fucking the best pizza pie, but it's
good.
It's good dough.
Yeah, and what I liked about Papa Murphy's was that they got jiggy with it. You know, they would do something like if any of the chains were going to do like a Thanksgiving, I don't think they did, but if any of the chains were going to do something like that, a Thanksgiving pie, they would be the ones. And
I think they
had that like cowboy chicken pizza that was white sauce. It was like a bacon ranch sauce.
So good.
And I was like, fuck, whoever is making these recipes, they're real people.
Well, they're making like hearts too for like Valentine's Day. They make the pizza shape into hearts, or like I think they might have did a pumpkin thing during Halloween anyway. So I don't know.
It's fun stuff.
Well, you guys know that I love my buffalo wings, and I was in Wenatchee, probably I don't know, early summer of 2002 or something like that. Maybe spring of 2002. I can't remember exactly when it was, but Abby's had this buffalo chicken pizza.
Oh yeah.
And it was fucking delicious. And I don't know how long they had it because it never seemed like they had it again when I went there and looked for it. And I've never seen that same combination of the ingredients that they used anywhere else. A lot of places have like a barbecue chicken or like a buffalo chicken pizza, but it's not the same. And I just don't know what the difference is. But
are they using buffalo sauce as the pizza sauce, or is it buffalo wings on like a ranch sauce type thing?
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. It was fucking delicious. It had like the chicken on there, and there was like.
Be honest. Do you think that this was a fever dream of?
No, it was real.
Abby's is so hard to fucking dissect.
Real.
I've tried to dissect them 1,000 times, dude, with their pizzas, and it's just like
the key is special. That's a special recipe.
It's definitely the crust. It's the dough. It's how they make them, and they're really thin.
As is usually the case.
They'll do a thick pie, but like I think a lot of it's just the fresh ingredients. You know, they use a lot of fresh ingredients.
Well, Abby's also has kind of a sour sauce. A lot of people don't like that. Like it's not a sweet Pizza Hut type sauce. I do too. It's more, tomato pasty and less toward the marinara,
more
sugary.
Tangy.
And that with the combination of the herbs that they put on and the spices that they put on that crispy sort of thin crust. Oh, Abby's is to die for. I miss it. I miss it more than just about any fast food.
Well, I've stood in that window many times trying to figure out what they do to make the pizza so good.
Like, go home, Lyle. He's like out there with
I'm an adult now. Notebook. I can stay here as long as I like. You fuckers. I used to play video games there, so they probably remember me from back in the day. But then,
hit the bricks, kid. Older man. You're never going to learn our secret recipe.
Never.
All right. Well, let's move on to some of these weird food deaths, and keeping an eye on the clock. We're looking all right. We're going to push this to a 2-hour one-off.
That's special.
I'll cram some of these in. And as I suspected, I'm already fucking hungry. All this talk of food, we always, no matter, even these stories where people are dying from food, somehow still kind of make me hungry. But we're going to start with some creepy food deaths that are by the food themselves. First off, and most of these I got off of Listverse, including this one, which is death by fish cake. Sounds like a nightmare one Christopher F. Hart might have. Cold sweats.
I've had my share of fish pie, if you know what I'm saying, Chris.
Death by fish pie kind of sounds.
I don't allow. Explain it.
Like a dream.
You don't choke on any bones, if you know what I'm saying.
All right. So 51-year-old Darren Hickey, quite a name, a wedding planner and venue owner in Lancashire, England, Lancashire, whatever, was described by his partner Neil Parkinson as larger than life. Unfortunately, Working so hard to make his client's wedding day perfect ultimately cost him his life. On April 4th, 2019, Hickey was asked by one of his chefs to try a freshly cooked fish cake. However, I can't believe anyone would serve fish cakes at a fucking wedding. However, eating the hot fish cake caused severe pain and burning in Hickey's throat, which led him to seek emergency medical treatment at a local urgent care center. There, Hickey was given...
Sir, it's clear. You've had a fish cake. That was your number one mistake.
He's like, oh, Christ. I thought it was a fucking hostess. There, Hickey was given acetaminophen for the pain, and he went home to rest. Later that evening, Parkinson heard Hickey making noises and found him upstairs coughing and choking. Hickey was then transported to a local hospital, but later pronounced dead. An autopsy revealed that the hot fish cake led to burns that were so far down in Hickey's throat and esophagus that they could not have been seen without special equipment.
That's when they go down there with the camera.
Additionally, the swelling of his airways ultimately made it impossible for Hickey to breathe or swallow, resulting in suffocation.
Horrible.
Jesus, dude.
That's a horrible way to go.
Try this fucking fish cake and then dead. From
because he was still alive.
Strangulation.
He was trying to get his roommate's attention. He was yelling and screaming as much as he could.
If that was my friend, I'd be at his fuking funeral just looking down at his grave, and I'd be like, you brought this on yourself.
Fish cake,
You godless,
fish cake, boy.
Godless soul, you.
Yeah, and you ruined the wedding.
Well, there's some people, I know we've talked about black licorice before, and I think some of y'all on the show are polarized by this. I personally like it. I like it quite a bit.
I love it.
I like the red stuff.
But it is love or hate. So a lot of people will feel the same way about this story as Christopher did about the man who died eating a fish cake. This is death by black licorice. A 54-year-old man in Massachusetts it's an unnamed man, regularly consumed red licorice, but later substituted his sweet cravings for black licorice, consuming as many as 2 large bags every day for the duration of 3 weeks.
Did he ever poop? I mean, you'd be so backed up.
Looked like it went in just black.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's gotta. I mean, a lot of that is just dye. Unfortunately, in January 2019, while he was at a McDonald's, this guy wasn't the picture of health. He began experiencing full body shakes before losing consciousness. First responders were called to the scene, and they performed CPR before transporting the man to a local hospital. Upon arrival, he was placed on a ventilator and admitted to the cardiac ICU. However, he died shortly after that. I'm going to try my best to say this. Let's see. Let me try to do this seriously. Glyceric acid, the sweetening compound made from licorice root, can cause decreased potassium levels, as well as high blood pressure, swelling, and heart failure. And in this case, these side effects contributed to the man's death. His consumption of such large amounts of black licorice caused a drop in his potassium levels, which then led to cardiac arrest.
I'm still stuck on the black poops. You think he just came out of the bathroom and he's like, why is my shit so emo?
Have you guys ever eaten something? Remember we talked years ago.
You gotta be scared, dude, when you poop in black.
About when Frankenberry first came on the scene. They called it Frankenberry stool.
Yep.
Because all the kids were being taken to the emergency rooms because they were pooping pink or red stools. And the doctors were freaking the fuck out. Like, what the fuck is going on here? But with a little bit of research, they found the common denominator was they had recently eaten Frankenberry, and they found that one of the dyes in Frankenberry was not processed. It could not be broken down by the human system. So it went all the way through, and it just straight up dyed your shit the same way it dyed the cereal going in. So, a lot of black licorice is dyed. The best black licorice I've ever had, like the good gourmet shit, to me, it always looks brown. But, like the black vines, I guess they still call them red vines, but the black ones, those are like black widow black. There's no way that shit's happened naturally.
No,
seems natural. Yeah,
that's really dead.
So yeah, I wouldn't be. I mean, he was eating 3 bags a day. Like that is so much. Just the dye alone, you could see how. Yeah, I mean, the story doesn't mention anything about black poop, but it had to have.
Well, he had to have
been one of the symptoms that this poor bastard eventually suffered.
Well, that's a big indicator. That's if it's black, it means you're actually shitting out old blood.
Yeah, blood.
So it's
blood.
basically blood that's already been bled, and it's old, and it needs to be discharged to the body, and that's the only way it comes out.
Yeah,
I learned that from firsthand experiences, Ron.
Yeah, I know you did. Well, this next one sounds possibly like the lamest way to go, but it's pretty rough. This is death by toast.
Oh no!
After swallowing a sharp piece of toast, a 75-year-old Vera Williams of Lyle's Tudor. Lyle's Tudor. We're just talking about Lyle's Tudor. Sought medical treatment on October 10th, 2014 for the pain in her throat. However, the doctor who assessed her felt that she wasn't unwell and simply sent her home. When the pain in her neck persisted, Williams returned to the hospital on October 23rd. However, Williams did not elaborate on the pain, nor did she inform the doctors that her pain had been persistent over the course of 2 weeks. In light of this, it was assumed Williams might have been suffering from an infection and was sent home with antibiotics. By the next day, Williams began coughing up blood and was transported to the hospital by ambulance. It was then that a scan revealed a sharp piece of toast had torn her esophagus in a 3 in a million, in quotations, freak accident, and the tear had caused blood to enter her intestines. Ugh, doctors decided not to operate due to Williams' severe heart disease, and sadly, she died a few days later.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, that's a gnarly death from toast.
Some you don't know, and it's not really known. That is like when you get blood in your stomach, it's wants to get out. Either you puke it out, and it looks like coffee grains coming up, or your body will shift to expel it out. It doesn't want to be in your body. Mm-hmm. So if it's in your intestinal tracts, dude. She was bent over, probably in fucking just horrible pain because it's the whatever it is, the blood in your intestines or in your stomach. It's a fucking just agitates everything.
Yeah.
So it's a horrible way to go.
Well, here's a scary one: death by corned beef. 43-year-old Mitchell Carey of Gun Road, Nebworth, hadn't eaten any breakfast on the morning of August 16th, 2010, so he decided to purchase a corned beef sandwich from a local cafe for lunch. However, Carey collapsed at work only 25 minutes after eating his lunch. He was taken to the hospital but was discharged the same day and sent home as a recurring theme with people not looking hard enough. Or sometimes shit just doesn't show up on that first trip. And he was sent home with medication to treat the stomach cramps and diarrhea he was experiencing.
Doctor's like, "Are you allergic to anything?" He's like, "No." "Well, corn." "Oh, and beef."
"Oh, and beef." And any kind of sandwich. The following day, the stomach cramps persisted, and Carey also began experiencing severe vomiting before collapsing a second time at home. He was once again transported to the hospital, but had suffered a severe heart attack and started to go through organ failure. He died just 2 days later, and his death ended up being the tragic result of food poisoning after contracting a rare bacterium, Clostridium perfringens.
I mean, that translated as do not eat sandwiches from fucking gas stations.
Well, it sounds like it was a cafe, but man, you'd think something like corned beef. You would think that shit would be cured from salt, but who the fuck knows?
I don't know, dude. I've had some sandwiches, some pretty shaded. Well, they weren't even that shady, like fucking 7-Eleven that were disgusting.
Yeah, well, in the little triangle plastic pouch. It says the bacterium is so rare, in fact, that it has only ever previously recorded that it has only ever been previously recorded 7 times in the world. So severe, like crazy.
Should have went out and bought a lottery ticket.
Yeah, well, had he lived, he probably would have. We do a couple more small ones, these, and we're going to get on to some of these deaths, or these murders, killings in the name of food. These are a bit more fun, although also still dark. Next is, now lest you think that these are all food-related deaths due to eating the food, here's one right out of a fucking horror movie, or some movie. This is death by chicken soup. A 25-year-old Issa Ismail of Iraq was a well-trained cook, having worked for 8 years in total and having spent the last 2 years preparing meals in party halls that accommodated 25,000 diners per day. That's fucking bananas. On June 15th, 2021, Ismail was preparing a large vat of chicken soup for a wedding dinner. However, Ismail tragically slipped and fell into the vat of scalding, boiling soup.
I'm melting.
She was transported to a local hospital.
What did that sound like, Lyle?
I tried to move on.
I'm melting.
Oh, this, to me, these are gnarly deaths. But this one, she was transported to a local hospital for treatment, having suffered 3rd-degree burns over 70% of the body. Still, unfortunately, died 5 days later as a result.
So you can imagine it would be like Indiana Jones when you looked at the what is it, the fucking Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got your face melted.
I bet you they would wish that they would melt that fast. It's just slightly being boiled alive. And an entire vat of, these giant things that are sort of like on the ground, on the floor.
Sure, it's got to be huge. I mean, that's so many people.
Fell into it.
Yeah,
that is rough. And I'm sorry.
The chickens get their revenge.
Right. That's what you get for calling us rascals.
That was and confusing us with turkeys.
Sorry, man. I was trying. I was reaching real deep.
It was good. It was worth it. All right, last one here. Death by fortune cookie. A 26-year-old Elmer Oscar Barrera of Houston, Texas, 26, was an employee of the Wonton Food Company, which produces noodles, wonton wrappers, and fortune cookies. On April 27th of 2014, another employee tragically discovered Barrera dead inside a fortune cookie dough mixing machine. Those giant industrial
This is what
mixers.
Twitter shows me these days is like fucking warehouse accidents. I see a lot of that.
Twitter needs to stop
I've
with
seen
that shit.
Yeah, I'm like I don't want to watch this.
No,
but I am watching this.
You don't have, well, that now it's on. I close that shit as fast as I can see it because I don't want to fucking see any of it. But it keeps on showing me. I don't know what Elon's up to, but it's not right.
I haven't even fucking used my Twitter account since
good for you.
Pre him buying the company.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that nobody calls it X. Like, the motherfucker couldn't even do a rebrand successful. Like, we still call it Twitter after all these years later. Yeah. It ends to say Barrera's death was deemed an accident due to multiple blunt trauma injuries sustained from the mixer, of course. And that is truly unfortunate.
Beat to death.
If I can end on a bad pun on that one. 26 years old. Can you imagine what that shit did to his body? I mean, just breaking everything. Just breaking every fucking thing. All right. Quickly moving on to some of these bizarre food-related crimes. And then I can light my cigar and make Chris do the heavy lifting for the rest of the program. Now, some of these are fucking nuts. We start with the mayonnaise killing.
Oh, God.
On June 27th, 2022, Melvin Williams walked into the Atlanta Subway restaurant in the evening to order a sandwich. Williams then began complaining that the sandwich he ordered had too much mayonnaise on it. Just after 6:30 p.m., the police were called to the establishment because gunshots were fired. The mayo on the sandwich had angered him so much that a confrontation broke out, and he shot 2 of the restaurant employees. One of the workers survived, but sadly the other woman was pronounced dead later at the hospital. Williams was arrested that night. And
that's ridiculous.
Charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, murder, and the possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Now, see, I can get behind killing somebody because they put Miracle Whip on my Sammy.
Not the mayonnaise.
Them's killing doings. But it's hard to put too much mayo on a Sammy for the roster. I'm a fan of the mayo. Right. The whole world is mayo. And discovering soy-free veganese. I speak veganese. That's the only reason that I ever gained weight back after I stopped eating like corn and gluten and all the fun stuff. Once I discovered that there was actual mayo, because I tried some of there was like avocado mayo, there was like paleo mayo. It all tasted like ass. It actually tasted more like Miracle Whip, which offended my soul. But the Follow Your Heart, I think it's the brand. It's Veganese, whatever the Veganese. It's, I'm not vegan, far from it, but I can't have the soy. So there's soy-free Veganese. It's like $15 a jar, and it is worth it. It's better than actual mayo. It's so creamy and delicious. It just tastes like mayo. It's all you want. Huh. It's everything. And I went mayo-free for like 3 or 4 years. So discovering that was like, I probably gained 10 pounds in like 3 months because of all the fat and mayo that I was. It wasn't just the calories from the mayo. I could make sandwiches and make chicken salad sandwiches and sauce things up again.
Grilled cheesers. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Ranch dressing, grilled cheesers.
Grilled cheesers, dude, with mayonnaise in the middle. Oh, God, yeah.
I'm going to call them grilled cheesers for the rest of my life.
You should.
You guys want grilled cheesers?
Talk to it. Yo, you talk dirty to him.
It's 3 in the morning.
Hell yes,
I want a grilled cheese.
That's where I draw the line, Lau.
You're going to get my tummy real quick after I'm done cooking you.
Oh, your pillow talk is so cute, Lyle. I'm looking to get in my tummy.
Oh.
Right? It's too bad I'm not married, right?
A lot of mayo talk. Up next, a soy sauce killing. This one is wild and tragic. One night in April 2022, these are all very recent, Zhuan Yan rode his scooter from a Queens restaurant where he worked as a delivery driver, but little did he know that an enraged customer was watching him. The customer, Glenn Hirsch, had even carried out a campaign of terror and harassment for a month during the previous November against the restaurant employees. He had demanded a refund because he said he didn't receive enough duck sauce with his food order. But the restaurant refused to take the order back due to the coronavirus fears. For weeks after the incident, Hirsch took out his anger on the restaurant workers, slashing the tire of one employee's car, showing up at the establishment brandishing guns, and on the evening of April 30th, Hirsch drove to the restaurant and passed it 7 times before seeing Yan leaving to carry out his deliveries. Hirsch followed the man as he dropped off a food order, then continued following him before shooting the unsuspecting delivery man in the back. Yan was rushed to the Elmhurst Hospital Center but was soon pronounced dead. Hirsch was arrested and charged with criminal possession of a weapon and murder, but he was released on bail and placed in home confinement. However, a short while after he was free on bail, Hirsch was found dead in his Queens apartment from a self-inflicted gunshot. And he had left a note beside him maintaining his innocence.
Why would he kill himself then? For fuck's sake.
Crazy fucking story.
Crazy people, man. Do crazy things.
Another wild one here. The frozen French fry murder. This one just doesn't make any sense at all. I guess the guy doesn't appreciate waste. May 23rd, 2021. These are all like pretty close to the COVID years. I think a lot of people are just going fucking nuts. At her home.
Most of us like, yeah, that makes sense. Been there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. May 23rd, 2021, at her home in Manchester, England, an argument over a bag of frozen French fries led to tragedy for Yvonne McCann, a 46-year-old mother of 4. Yvonne's husband, 49-year-old Thomas McCann, strangled his wife to death after they had argued about a bag of frozen French fries that had been left on the counter out of the freezer. After strangling her, McCann proceeded to cut up her body and dump it in a nearby park. He even replied, this comes back to what we were talking about earlier. He even replied to text messages from their children on his wife's cell phone, pretending to be her, telling them she had been arguing with their dad and that she decided to leave the family. What a fucking peach this guy is. But parts of Yvonne's body were soon found by some dog walkers in the county park. Then police were called after 2 bags were found, and then 4 more in another section of the park. McCann discovered that his wife had started a relationship with another man in 2013, and this clearly made her husband jealous, and their relationship broke down and sadly ended in Yvonne's murder. It seemed that the frozen French fry argument was really just the trigger that sent McCann over the edge. He was sentenced to life in prison. We are an unwell people, man.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, the sad thing is people don't leave, when they're in such a violent, situation. A lot of people just tend to stay because they're scared and they don't have anywhere else to go.
That's the biggest thing, that they don't have anywhere else to go, especially where we're at right now in this country. You can't afford, how could anyone, I don't know how anyone could do it. I am so fucking fortunate that I was able to buy a house in 1998. And even after refinancing a couple times over the last 25 years, I still am in a really good situation compared to so many people around me. And it's just luck.
They just bumped our rent up an extra $200.
And if you have kids and you're in a bad situation, you want to get away from that situation, of course. But where do you go? The fucking streets, to some halfway house? It is not easy. There's a lot that goes into it. And that's the only way you can
get help, unfortunately, is if you're completely homeless. That's the only way you can get into.
Too many people are homeless now. There's no fucking help.
Yeah.
We're in a bad situation right now.
So,
all right, a couple more quick ones here, and then we'll move on to weird triv. Here's another real peach. The barbecue chicken killer. See what I mean? Even all this tragedy and death, aren't you guys fucking hungry? Do you want some fucking food up in this bitch?
I was thinking about making a couple egg sandwiches.
No, do it. Or a couple grilled cheesers.
Bust out a couple grilled cheesers.
I mean, you can go with a couple of toasted eggers if you want.
You gotta butter and toast those suckers. Oh, God. You need a griddle.
Out of Detroit, griddles are the way of the future. Those are the ones you put on your counter and you just,
Mm-hmm.
A barbecue at a Detroit home on Pearson Street ended in disaster when 29-year-old Devious Weathers shot. We've had some Devious Weathers here of late.
Is that a real name?
That's what they said. That's what they told the roster. Shot and killed 31-year-old, speaking of roster, Ronnie Charles Ray.
Oh, no.
That's a great blues musician. Those musicians it's almost Chris's turn. Thank Christ.
Wasn't that Dio's name? Ronnie who?
He was a musician during a confrontation over barbecue chicken.
He pulled rabbits out of his ass.
The attack happened at around 9:30 p.m. one night, August 2022. Investigators tracked Weathers down to a house on Hayden Street the following day. According to the prosecutor's office in Wayne County, police attempted to seize Weathers as he was backing out of his driveway, but he fled the scene. He then returned to Pearson Street, barricading himself in another house, and there he had a 2-year-old girl with him who he had kidnapped. She was believed to be his daughter, and after that standoff that lasted 5 hours, Weathers finally came out of the house holding the child in front of him as a human shield.
Really giving the name Devious a bad rep.
Right? It used to be all sneaky and in the dark, kind of like ninja stuff, and now it's all...
He had no choice. His path was already lined up. Now, fortunately, they got him to let the child go. He came out of the house, and then they arrested him and charged him with all the things, and he went to prison for life. Apparently. Wow. But yeah, Jesus Christ. The kinds of people, I mean, there's crime, there's being a shitty human being, there's being somebody that never figures out how to do something. And then there's picking up a 2-year-old child, holding it in front of you, and marching out in front of probably at this point a couple dozen of high-powered guns, knowing that people are on edge, ready to shoot. And was like, nope, I'm shielded. Got a 2-year-old here. Can't shoot me. What a piece of shit. All right, one more, and this is a heck of a headline here. Cop arrested for planning to cook girl meat on Thanksgiving. I thought I would find one that was specific to Thanksgiving to end on here.
Still making you hungry?
Yes. A girl meat? I mean, come on. We've talked about this. I'm probably like 50% cannibal, even though I've never had that first taste.
Girl meat, guy meat, I don't care what gender. Just give me that ham.
First taste is the weirdest.
So spicy.
Then it's all good. So Gilberto Valle was an NYPD officer who was arrested in 2012 because of disturbing pictures his wife found on his computer.
Oh, that's even worse. He's living a fucking second life.
Yeah, so many people can. It turns out he had a list of women he was stalking and often fantasized and wrote about cooking and eating them. In one chat room, he boasted he was going to have, quote, girl meat, unquote, for Thanksgiving. In spite of these disturbing conversations, a judge overturned Valley's conviction, saying the former officer was just fantasizing, and he was freed in 2014 after serving less than 21 months and returned to live with his mother, who promised to cater to his every need. So I thought I'd leave it on a positive note there. Haven't been able to find anything that Valet has been up to since 2012.
Mother, I'm fancying some girl meat.
Mother is catering to his whims, and you can only imagine a scenario where, moms, good moms, loving moms, caring moms, always want to feed their child. They always want to help out in the kitchen. Who knows what Mom and Gilberto have crafted together in their girl meat Thanksgivings. But there you have it, folks. Tomfoodery episode 2024 in the can. I'm hungry. I'm disturbed. I gotta pee, and I'm ready to light my cigar and end on some weird ass triv. Who's in?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a little breaky break.
All right, back in 2 and 2. Oh, speaking of, we just lost Chuck Woolery, the founder of 2 and 2. So I'll drink 2 and 2 as I'm going 2 and 2.
There you go.
Be back in 2 and 2.
Going 2 and 2
in his honor.
Yeah, doctor.
It falls apart.
2 and 2. Oh yeah, you might have issues.
It's a little early.
2 and 2 and 2.
Black Friday comes early in this house. I don't want to get political, all, but did you guys see that Trump actually lost the popular vote?
No,
fucking wild. We're still calling it a landslide, though. He'll still.
I don't believe any of that shit.
What do you
mean? The numbers are real.
The popular vote is real. The electoral vote is kind of some monkeying about, but that's been around forever. Well, I mean, Trump won. I mean, there's no. It's not a debate about that. But the popular vote, he's sitting just below 50%.
But it's not a mandate.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like people keep calling this a landslide. It's like. There are 160 million registered voters in the United States, and Trump won by less than 4 million votes. For whatever reason, some of those votes come in super slow, and a lot of those are on our side of the country, which tends to be liberal. They knew those numbers would change to some degree. And again, they called the election because they knew it wasn't going to be enough to beat Trump. But he, as it stands now, looks like he actually lost the popular vote, which is really interesting. All it means is the country is still split.
I think not a landslide. The percentage I saw, the numbers I saw was like he got like the 44th lowest number of votes, popular votes for all the elections for presidents so far.
Yeah,
something like that. So I don't know, whatever it's worth. I mean, it doesn't matter, I guess. At this
I probably shouldn't have brought it up. I just thought it was interesting.
That's not a big deal. And we're all adults. We could fucking.
Well, I mean, in terms of just like. It has no real place in this particular episode, but I just thought it was fucking fascinating that, oh shit, suddenly it's changed. It was a fucking close election. It's closer than some people would have you think. Anyway, let's get moving on to some weird triv. What say?
Weird triv. Do it. Hit the song, Ronster. Play it.
Is weird trivia 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna drink the rest. I guess I'm just drinking a whole bottle of wine.
Guzzle.
I haven't drank a whole bottle of wine in a long time.
It's weird trivia with Christopher F. Hart, a man from Florida, poop things, square shit in nature. Don't get me started on the goddamn brown hair. It's weird trivia that might get Christopher fired.
Attaboy.
What kind of wine?
Jones of Washington Cabernet 2022.
I'm drinking a Chateau Michel. Saint Chateau. Is it shit? I can't fucking say it. This doesn't
Saint Michel
bode well for news quiz at all.
See, it was your turn to do the heavy lifting.
Speaking of,
I'm smoking a cigar.
I'm gonna smoke a joint.
Well, smoke
all right.
vape, then.
Question 1, guys. God, you know what? Unrelated. I just rewatched Children of Men. What a phenomenal movie that is.
I never. Oh, this is going to be an interesting finale. I never saw it.
You've never seen it?
No, I know the premise. I mean, loosely, I know the premise, but I never saw it. What's that lead actor's name?
Clive Owen.
Did he just kind of fall off the face of the earth? It seems like he was the hit guy everywhere for a while, and now I haven't thought of that.
I haven't seen him in anything in a long time.
What was the big thing before that he did?
What'd you say? He did. God, he did a bunch of movies. He did the one where he was like King Arthur. Loved it. He did.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
He did a bunch. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, let's get right into this. All right. Question 1. Studies have shown that doing this during your day at least once can reduce your risk of heart disease and also improve your memory.
Masturbation.
We'll get there, Lyle.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Your hands out of your pants, Lyle. Listen up.
Oh, no, I'm ready to go. Yeah, let's go.
So again, you're looking for the correct answer. Is it A, taking a daytime nap?
Oh, they're so good.
Is it B, meditation? Having a little meditation session.
That's when I do when my eyes are shut. I'm taking my nap.
I do it almost an hour a day.
Yeah, meditation.
Is it C, being kind to someone for no other reason than being kind?
Oh, I like that. That's an interesting challenge for us all to try in the week to come.
Or is it D, jerking off? Or masturbating.
Heart attack? Got like fewer heart attacks?
Will reduce your risk of heart disease and also improve your memory. Again, naps, meditation, being kind, or masturbation.
I already know, baby.
Okay.
Well, are we starting with
Ronster? Yeah.
Well, I want it to be all of them, but I've talked a lot about meditation and how it's completely changed my life over the last few years. And at one point, the idea of meditating every day, even for 20 minutes, seemed like there's no way I'm going to be able to commit to that. Now I have to set an alarm so that I don't meditate for 2 fucking hours, because once you're in that state, it's like this. You know how when you're super tired and you're just like sort of falling asleep and you're awake enough to feel your body shutting down? You know what I'm talking about? It's like your muscles are all relaxed and you're just like, oh, this is bliss. But you're alert enough to focus or accept whatever is happening in your brain. It's hard to explain until you hit that plane, and it is just addictive. But it also... go ahead.
I was going to say most people with smartwatches, there's a mode on your watch where you could actually meditate, and it's only like 5 minutes, maybe I think 10 minutes.
There's guided meditations, there's visualization, there's all sorts of different ways to meditate. I have made up my own chanting way of meditating, and I chant in my head. Anyways, it has completely, oh man, I'm telling you guys, I have tried to get you guys to do meditation so much because you have to experience the psychedelic and just freak show that can happen from it. It doesn't always happen, but without this is going on and on and on. there are too many things to list that I have immediately noticed improving in my life through meditation. And so I'm going to go with that.
Okay. I'll put you down for meditation. John Mark.
I think naps.
Yeah. We don't sleep like we once did.
No. And I am like, I love the idea of a nap. If I can take a nap, if I ever successfully have a nap, I'm like, holy shit, that was amazing. But
it's hard,
really
right?
hard time taking a nap.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it should be like one of the best things you can do. But yeah, I'm going for naps.
Well, see, meditating on my bed of nails is like taking a 2 or 3 hour
really
sleep.
Painful nap.
It recharges me.
I can't.
I know it's crazy, but no, it is fucking incredible. And I look at it like my daily nap. I never fall asleep ever because the meditative process is too intense. It's too interesting to fall asleep. But I get in a state where I know my body thinks I'm asleep in terms of rest. It's very restorative. Go ahead, Lau.
Yeah. Well, because, just the way my life is these days anyway. Like I go through dialysis and stuff, and usually when I come home, I'll take a nap anyway.
Yeah.
Even like a 20-minute nap, it feels like a 2-hour nap sometimes. And it's very, beneficial to my day, because then usually past that I could go and, maybe go do pay some bills or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the masturbation, because I think
I hoped
the ejaculation, the whole release is kind of a release of endorphins and stuff like that, and natural things in your body. I think it's kind of like seeping the poison out of a poisonous snake, if that makes sense. You got all these toxins.
Tell me that's what you yell when you're coming.
The poison,
the poisonous snake. Like, do you have to say that every time?
Oh, snake. Oh,
yeah.
Sad snake. No,
what's the snake?
Sad snake. I mean, if we're being honest, it does quickly go to sad snake.
It's like
right?
when you don't have Wi-Fi and you can't like get on Pornhub, so like you kind of like remember the last video you watched.
You have to,
Oh God, she was blonde. I know that with a really big
dial it up in your memory.
Oh my God!
And so that helps your memory. And
but spanking it to your imagination is always not only an option, but an incredible option. Like I think it's
for sure.
If
you could get it to work, I'm like your imagination.
I mean, I am going to say one more thing. There is a thing that I have discovered, and I'm sure I'm not the first. I like to call it medstertation.
Where you're jacking while you're meditating.
It's like, well, I'm about 20 minutes into this, and it's going a certain way. I'm just going to shift into a different sort of scenario here. And let me tell you, folks, you fucking experiment, man. All right, I'll turn it back over to you.
Are you talking about whacking and meditation?
Yes. Medstertation.
Okay. I just wanted to be on the same page.
No, it's fair to be clear. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well,
he puts his wiener on the bed of nails too.
Oh God! Don't push down.
No.
Don't push down.
The closest I get to that is occasionally I will lay belly down. I don't keep my junk anywhere near it. The belly side is intense.
Barely get that out of my mouth.
What, that wiener? What are you talking about?
All right. Oh man. Okay. Fuck it. We're on a tangent right now. But
we're good. We're
got holiday.
I listened to a podcast recently, and they were talking about the science of growers versus showers. There is a definitive length that is achieved between the showing and growing that would signify whether you are a grower or a shower. It's in inches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long do you think that is? Like, if you grow this amount or more, you are considered a grower.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like probably 3, right? 3 inches flaccid.
You got to remember, Lau, you've got like,
your pubic bone goes in there.
It's like you talk about dog year. We're talking about, you talk about like crippler inches here. It's like dog years. So you got to convert for the rest of us.
Well, because you figure, what, like 3.5 fucking flaccid, you're going to be at least fucking 8 inches hard or something. The man.
Okay, so you're going about 3.5 inch.
I think you're going to grow a little bit more than double, like I would think.
3.5 inches. Okay.
Monster?
Well, I have talked a lot about my growing, not showing. When I'm grown, I'm doing just fine, sir. Thank you very much. When I am ungrown, I am a slightly post-pubescent young woman. I grow like a fucking shrinky-dink shrinks. Reverse it. It's like, so to put that in inches is tough. So what are our options here?
This is just for fun. This isn't real. This isn't part of the quiz.
Oh, so we're just trying to pull a number.
Yeah. What do you think it is?
The shower.
It's. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. It's lower than you're thinking.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because.
Well, you got a quarter, half inch, and 3/4 in an inch, right?
Well, let me think here. I'm gonna say 2 inches.
Well, really?
Only because you said that. I would have gone bigger, but.
Well, your pubic bone goes back a ways too. Like if you were to take a ruler and actually to measure your dick, you would push past your ball, like above your balls.
Just stabbing yourself like
the easiest way is to just
lay it back and have your balls fucking hanging down to your knees.
Yeah, but dudes need to measure.
No, measure me from the balls to the tip of my dick.
If dudes are gonna measure their dick, do it on the tummy side. That's the only fair way.
The answer was 1.5 inches. If you grow more than 1.5 inches, you are considered a grower. Anyways, let's move on here.
So like a shower is like what? Fucking just like 8 inches flaccid?
Well, or 3 or no, it could be even 3 inches flaccid. But when you're hard, you'd be 3.5 or 3.75.
Yeah, I figured
it's the distance that it grows.
Double, isn't it?
It's not. Being a shower isn't necessarily being a big dick. It's you are almost as big as you're going to be limp. That's what being a shower is.
Right.
I am not one such blessed. Anyone that sees me, if I'm not in the mood, I am ready for the mockery. But as I've always maintained, if I'm not ready to rock, I don't need a cock. I don't need a bunch of shit going on down there. I need comfort. I need breathability. I need maneuverability. I can rock later. I don't want a fucking bunch of shit to deal with down there when I'm watering my garden. As the kids might say.
In the garden.
You want to be aerodynamic and just flowing.
I need to break the wind.
Zero wind drag.
Yeah, I just got to pray my back will fucking hold up. My lower back.
Your dick. All right. Let's move on. We're gonna get accused of talking about Roadhead for 45 minutes straight.
I was just thinking this will be the episode that Susie skips ahead. There's nothing but talking about.
Give that another shot.
Our dicks.
Yeah. I don't know. With my experience with Roadhead, it didn't last very long. It was pretty much over pretty fast.
As soon as the drive loud, I'm not surprised.
Well, as soon as the fucking speed limit went up to 35, it was like, oh god, I gotta hurry up and get this finished.
But to be fair, he was on his Harley.
We're all gonna die.
Here we go again. I'll fucking talk. Yeah. Anyways, question 2, guys. I sent a picture over for this one.
Candyman.
I don't like it.
Well, yeah, we recently lost Tony Todd, whose biggest claim to fame was, in fact, 1992's Candyman horror movie hit. Now, in this movie, there's a scene, and I sent the boys a photo of this, which you all have there, that shows a bunch of bees coming out of his mouth, basically. This is a 1992 flick. How did they make this effect happen? Is it in that? I'm going to give you 4 options, and you're going to tell me which one you think is real. Is it A? It actually wasn't even an optical illusion. He just crammed 200 fucking bees into his mouth.
That sounds like early 90s filmmaking.
Yeah.
Was it B?
Well, it was there, but it was so fucking far gone. You could see.
Well,
it,
I mean, we had a lot. There was a lot of CGI coming up.
Well, you would see a bunch of green.
That's what I'm saying. Was it B? It was the first use of animal CGI in recorded film history.
Oh, okay.
2.
Is it C? It was shot using an elaborate system of mirrors to make it look like bees were in his mouth.
It's fucking voodoo right there, buddy.
Or was it D?
Gantz.
The bees were hand-drawn, frame by frame, a special effect that took nearly 8 months to produce.
Fucking Ron was about that shit.
Again, that does seem like early 90s filmmaking.
That's how they did it. No.
Again, 1992 flick. There's a great scene where bees come flying out of his face. How did they do this? Was it A, he just did it? B, first use of animal CGI? C, using elaborate system of mirrors? Or D, hand-drawn, frame by frame? Ronster.
Well, I'm so tempted to go with B, as if it was a well-thought-out Easter egg. But I know a lot of hardcore actors would just fucking do it. Let's do it. Film, roll it in a lot of horror movies.
Get it once, and
how dangerous that is.
Oh, well, the fucking horror movies, shooting horror movies back in the days was dangerous work. And that's the one I want it to be. I like
any of the next job too. I mean, if you're willing to do that, the producer's like, dude, I want you on my next film. You know, if they see that kind of attitude. I
really like the idea that Candyman has some sort of like Guinness book of, one of those entries for being the first animal, like CGI animal or whatever that answer is. I like that. I won't mind losing any of these because they're all good. The mirrors is interesting, but in the hand-drawn thing, God knows that was the thing. But I'm going to go with that motherfucker just said, bring me the bees. Pussies. Action! Oh Christ! Cut!
I regret everything.
They're stinging my intestines.
Why'd they have to be killer bees?
That movie was fucking intense, man. That was
Well, now I have to watch this movie again because I don't fucking know.
There was wasn't there a little kid's penis in a fucking toilet in that movie? Like in the theaters in the 90s? Yeah, there was some like fucked up. Am I remembering this right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Have to watch this movie again.
I'm gonna look.
John, where are you gonna go with?
I'm gonna look up little kid's penis on Google. What could what could possibly go wrong?
Right. Yeah.
You're on the list now, Ron.
You're probably
I'm
just
going
saying
with,
it out loud.
Hand-drawn bees.
The drones are gonna come back next week.
You have debris in your head. In your head. How many times is the phrase gonna organically come up to me? All right.
Lyle.
Zombie. I'm gonna go with Ron's answer, and he just fucking grew a set and threw him in the mouth. See, there's ways of taming bees. You could run them underneath like cold air, and they get dormant and dormatized, and you could stick them in your mouth, and it'd be fine. They wouldn't fuck with you at all. In fact, they would probably wake up because of the hot moisture in your mouth. They would get them to wake up, and then they'd instantly just get out of your fucking mouth.
Okay.
Hopefully without stinging you.
Okay,
I think he just went balls deep and said, "Fucking let's go."
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it was. I don't think it was necessarily a child, but there is definitely a scene where the penis falls into the toilet bowl. Yeah, and it has a face, the face of Eve.
Oh God, could you imagine being that fucking plumber?
Candyman, it amazes me.
Well, he must have had a wild party last night. What, you got a dick in there fucking toilet?
Was this Black Friday? No pun intended.
Logging it up.
Yeah, John Mark, you got to go back and watch it. It's amazing how many horror aficionados don't bring up Candyman as much as they should. But
we my band in 1992 had a song that used samples from that movie at the beginning.
Oh, the Philip Glass?
In the middle of the song. Yeah, it was "Be My Victim."
No, that's
my victim.
But you remember the theme?
My victim. What's that?
It had the saddest theme. It was a Philip Glass theme
in the movie.
Yeah. Let me play it here. Go ahead, Chris. I'm just gonna cue this up because you got to hear a couple of notes of the Candyman theme.
Sure.
It's very haunting, very depressing.
While you're queuing that up, question 3: what is a single strand of spaghetti officially called?
Ooh,
single strand. Is it called A, a string?
A spaghetti string. Okay.
Is it B, a disappointment?
Kind of is.
Well, if it was brought out in a bowl at a fancy restaurant, then sure.
On a plate. Yeah.
Is it C, a spaghetto?
Spaghetto.
Or in the ghetto, spaghetto.
A spaghetto. Because if there's one thing a fella don't need, it's a single strand of spaghetti, you see. A spaghetto.
Spaghetto.
Spaghetto. Spaghetto. Yes, I'm trying to watch my carbs. Please bring me your finest spaghetto.
Just a spaghetto.
It's fun to say. I want to order a spaghetto. One
it's just a size.
Single spaghetto.
Spaghetto.
Okay. Or is it D, a line?
That was great.
A line of spaghetti. I'm trying to say them all out loud. Okay.
Again, what is a single strand of spaghetti officially called? A string, a disappointment, a spaghetto, or a line?
I gotta go with spaghetto just because it's of the musicality and because I'm 90% sure you made it up and I'm going to reward you for that. Because if there's one thing a hungry fella don't need, it's a single strand of spaghetti to eat. A spaghetto. Spaghetto. And my stomach growls. All right. John Mark, what say you?
Okay, I'm in spaghetto.
Spaghetto?
Yes.
I think we should make it a family game and go with spaghetto.
All right, perfect.
Spaghetto.
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 Well done here.
Question for... Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
This...
Bless you, my son.
Oh, this is fantastic. Okay.
I did great work here.
I did. I'm really proud of this one.
They call me.
I've been holding on to this for a few months now.
Let it out.
This famous person announced that they're seriously training to participate in the 2028 motherfucking Olympics. Apparently, this person has taken up archery in their spare time, and they've gotten quite good at it. And they think they can make a serious bid for the Olympics. Who are we talking about? Is it A, Weird Al?
Okay. You know my aim, shine right on.
Is it B, Millie Bobby Brown?
Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. Oh, okay.
Stranger Things. 11 from Stranger Things.
Sure.
Oh.
Is it C, Macaulay Culkin?
In his adult years.
He's got to do something.
Much of a kid anyway. Yeah.
Or is it D, Dr. Dre?
Talking about Dr. Dre?
Yeah, there's a list, right? A list. Again, this person has seriously announced that they're training for the 2020 Olympics. They expect they're going to have a bid to make it onto the team. They're dead serious about it. Archery, it's their fucking jam. Weird Al, Millie Bobby Brown, Macaulay Culkin, or Dr. Dre. Ronster.
God, I really want to go with Weird Al, but
he's too weird
for some reason. I mean, the age thing, like Olympic, but the Olympics can have older athletes in some of these kookier sports. But I'm still tempted to go with Millie Bobby Brown. I'm trying to think if there's an arrow scene. I recently started rewatching Stranger Things.
I kind of wanted to.
It wasn't as it hasn't held my attention this time around like I'd hoped. But oh God, I think I'm gonna go with Millie Bobby Brown. But I will gladly lose to Weird Al. I'm rooting for Weird Al.
Okay. John Mark.
I'm going to go with 11 also.
Yeah.
Okay. Lyle.
You know, Dr. Dre is in hella shape.
Is he?
He really is. He's fucking
ripped.
Jacked, dude. He's a jacked
Are you
DJ.
sure about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Go look up the video he did with Eminem with the doctor, I Need a Doctor. And it's got him.
How many years ago was that?
Yeah.
Well, it's still, dude. I mean, you don't lose that. He hasn't lost that. Him and like 50 are both probably own the same gym equipment.
But he doesn't need to be jacked to be a dead aim with a bow.
It depends. It depends your draw length, man. I got a badass fucking compound bow. And you have to be able to pull back 60 pounds.
Do they use compound bows, though, in archery in the...
Yeah. They don't use they use all types of bows in the Olympics.
I can't picture more about hitting your target. Dre, none of the pictures I'm pulling up give me anything because he's always wearing
more about
suits.
Hitting the target. But I'm going to make it a family game and go with 11 too, because I could see a younger... I could see her doing it. I think she would probably do it well, you know.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be a trip to see her out there on an Olympic concourse? That doesn't happen. We don't see that. Celebrities getting involved with the Olympics.
We have an interesting game here. Let's see how this turned out. Question 1, studies have shown that doing this during your day at least once can reduce your risk of heart disease and also improve your memory. John Mark was dead on with taking a daytime nap.
Damn.
Well, you know.
I'm sure the others have some benefits.
Well, meditation definitely.
Combined.
But a nap. If only it were so easy. But that's the thing. Meditation you can do. Meditation's easy. You can do it.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of the benefits. It feels a lot like a nap. You guys got to get into this fucking meditation, man. I feel like a cult leader with no followers.
Question. Yeah. I tried to get them in the first. I tried the depends. They said no. Then I tried the meditation.
Then I tried the kennel. They said no. And guess what? Ron Evans is going to be all alone at the end of this walk, and I'm still going to say no back.
Send a check or money order to Boron Films.
Oh boy, that's the old school. All right.
Question 2. We recently lost Tony Todd, whose biggest claim to fame was probably 1992's Candyman. In the hit horror movie, there's a sequence that shows a bunch of bees coming out of his mouth. They did this. I have a little snippet to read. Bees, they did this by actually putting the fucking bees in his mouth.
Yeah.
The bees were bred specifically for the movie. They needed to make sure that the bees were only 12 hours old. So they looked like mature bees, but their stinger wouldn't be powerful enough to do any real damage. In addition to allowing the filmmakers to cover his face with bees, Tony Todd actually agreed to film a scene in which he had a mouthful of bees, and that too was all real. In a later interview with TMZ, and I love this, he recalled wearing a dental dam to prevent any bees from sliding into his throat, but was stung around 23 times while shooting. Wow. However, to shoot the scene, he had his manager negotiate a bonus of $1,000 per sting he would receive during the scene.
Well, it's not so bad.
Well, did it have to be confirmed by doctors?
Swallowing over 200 bees.
Oh, what? God.
200?
Yeah, he ended up swallowing.
Oh, what does that shit look like?
Fucking awful.
Striped?
His poop definitely looked emo.
Like, I'm shitting striped.
Yeah. Anyways, who went with that? Let's see. I'm pulling it back up.
I did. I think me and Lyle.
Me and Ron.
Oh, Ron and Lyle. Okay. So let's see. We are currently tied. A point apiece. Question 3. What's a single strand of spaghetti officially called? Well, you're all in luck because it's a spaghetto.
Is it spaghetto?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, spaghetto in the street.
So y'all getting a point for that.
Me.
Which makes us tied again.
Good stuff.
And then this famous person announced that they are seriously training to participate at the 2028 Olympics. They have taken up archery and they are big and bad into it and are officially pretty fucking good, apparently, by all accounts. And when they're talking about the Olympics, their quote is, "They're dead ass serious because it's Dr. fucking Dre." No. You might have been onto something. Wow, he's very fit.
Dude, he's super jacked.
Archery.
Yeah, he's super jacked. He's always kept in good shape.
Did I think all through Dre,
this. What's that?
Did you go with Dre, Lyle?
No, I wanted to.
He talked him up a little bit, like, and then he zigged, and then
he went the safer way.
I don't know. I just think 7 would probably be a better answer.
He zigged, he zagged, and then he missed the target.
So we're all tied up.
All right. Okay.
It's been an interesting night of gaming.
Oh, I got a good one here. We already did the Siegel one. Thank God. I was dying to do the Siegel one. 20 years.
Yeah, that's surprises.
Okay. In Star Wars, guys, open up a text to me. How much was James Earl Jones paid for his voice acting in A New Hope?
Oh, interesting.
How much money was, and he was paid, this wasn't like a pro bono sitch, he was paid, but how much was James Earl Jones paid for his voice acting as Vader in A New Hope?
I feel like I went high. It's the 70s. It was an unproven...
Oh, 70s.
It was an unproven quantity. It was an unproven director. Well, not an unproven director, but not the director he became.
Well, you know...
okay.
I'm going to stick with it.
Well, you know what sucks is that, like, what if he got paid for his rights? You know, so every time it was actually aired, he got paid.
Like royalties?
Yeah, like royalties.
Yeah, they don't do that very often.
Yeah,
that's not an option. Yeah. Sometimes it is.
All right. Let's see. Ronster came in low at $20,000. Lyle said $100,000.
Which is not too uncommon, right? For a voice acting thing?
No, not back then.
Nobody else is going to do it. Be able to
John Mark came in even higher at $150,000. James Earl Jones was paid $9,000 for his voice in A New Hope, making Ronster our winner. Wow. Well done.
Wow.
But yeah, only $9,000. I mean, I think he got paid in the second one for sure. I think everyone got paid.
Interesting. Well, if you think about it, the time that his voice is actually on screen is probably just 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
He probably recorded that in an afternoon, between lunch and dinner.
And again, this was not a proven quantity. The Star Wars, it
honestly,
wasn't a low budget movie, but it wasn't a major budget movie, even for that time. Like they pushed, like they got a lot of money's worth for the money. What is the budget for the original Star Wars? Does anyone know?
Let's look it up.
Let's look that up. I'm curious.
A New Hope.
I bet it's probably shockingly low.
$11 million.
Yeah,
it's actually higher than I would have guessed.
That's nothing.
Yeah, because he also was fresh off of American Graffiti, right? So he had like a studio back in him.
But that's the only thing I can think of, right? Was there anything else? Was he part of Apocalypse Now? All those guys, Spielberg and who's the director for Apocalypse Now? Coppola,
Scorsese,
but also John Milius and. Who did I say? Spielberg, John Milius, Coppola, and Lucas. They were all film school buddies. So they worked on each other's movies.
They were all in cahoots.
Yeah. But I do think George Lucas's only really directorial work at that point on a grand scale was American Graffiti. Interesting. 11 million. That is a chunk of dough, though, for the 70s. For 77?
To make that movie.
I wonder what the biggest budget for a movie of that time would have been, but interesting.
Shining, maybe. I mean, The Shining seemed like it was pretty well produced.
Well, before we get out of here, why don't we just go ahead and look that up too? Biggest budget movie of 1977.
But The Shining's budget was 19 million.
Well, Star Wars. Wow. There isn't much info about the biggest budget movie of 77, but here on some top grossing. Okay. Biggest budget movie of the 70s. What do you guys think it is? Well, I can tell you it's not Star Wars, but I can also tell you probably won't guess it. Here are some runners up. It's not Star Wars. It's not Jaws. It's not The Exorcist. It's not The Godfather. It's not Grease. It's not Superman. And it's not Rocky 2. The number one most expensive movie. Does anyone want to take a guess? I don't think you'll guess it.
I don't know.
Earthquake.
What?
Okay.
Earthquake. Yeah, you remember it was all the disaster movies were all the rage. You had the Poseidon Adventure, Earthquake, Towering Inferno. Yeah. That was $14 million, and it earned $80 million at the box office. So Star Wars wasn't crazy. It wasn't like crazy cheap, but it wasn't like Evil Dead cheap. But which I think was what I think they might have pushed that to $1 million, 800,000 or something like that.
But I mean, if you think about like the amount of money that was spent back then, I mean, in 77, 76, 77, $11 million was a lot of fucking money.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But if you think about how much that generated over the next couple decades, right?
Well, like, that's what the next thing said, that Star Wars was by far the highest grossing.
Insane.
Movie. But I think is what it said, the 20 highest grossing movies of the 70s. Yeah, Star Wars. Well, wait a minute.
But just, I mean, what it led to in general, right?
Oh,
like
okay.
the whole fucking
so the
empire.
The budget for Star Wars was $11 million. How much do you guys want to guess it made? Just in the 70s, like in the original theatrical run.
$270 million.
John
I'd say less than that. I'd say maybe 100 million.
John Mark, what say you?
Oof. That's a good question. Let's go with 300 million.
$775 million.
Okay, like my first instinct was to say 500 million, but I was like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Is actually right for the 70s, though. Is that all time? No, it's had to have made more money than that all time.
All time.
$775 million in the 70s. Whew, no wonder George could afford to build Skywalker Ranch.
Right.
Fucking rhyming.
Or have fucking all Star Wars actually built for real. Because most of them were fucking miniatures.
Well,
God damn.
Man.
The house that George built.
Great.
What's George doing now?
I don't know.
Fucking living the life.
Yeah, not being hated by
Coke
everybody.
and hookers, probably.
Cocaine and hookers. He's probably retired.
Working on his fucking chin waddle.
He's just like doing blow off a hooker's ass. He's like, you want to hear this great Yoda joke I heard the other day?
I bet you he's trying your trick, and he's probably meditating and jerking off.
HDMI, don't you get it, baby?
He's just thinking about how he can bring Jar Jar back.
He's like, God. One of these days, my
throat
waddle as my witness. I will make another Jar Jar picture. It is wild that those guys were all friends, though, right?
No.
Yeah.
Spielberg. I mean, Milius is I suppose, probably the least successful of the bunch, but he wrote. I think he wrote most of Apocalypse Now, the screenplay, and he did Conan the Barbarian. He did Red Dawn.
Red Dawn was
you know that John Milius is the basis of the character for Walter in The Big Lebowski. And if you look at some interviews with John Milius, it rings true immediately. But yeah, Coppola, Spielberg, Milius, and Lucas are all buddies. That's a crazy fucking group of friends that had.
Well, I mean,
success.
it's like having your industrial giants all best friends, you know, like fucking Bill Gates and fucking.
Yeah, but they tend to.
Apple
I guess there is some of that going back in the day. But a lot of those guys tend to find themselves along the way of success. These guys they were dirt
That's
poor,
different.
Sleeping on each other's
floors.
floors.
All went to school together.
Yeah,
film
school
no,
together.
they're like in a gang or something. I'm sure.
Yeah,
like the fucking Skull and Bones or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Gang. They're in a gang together.
Cellulite, cash and tits gang. Mm-hmm.
I want to be part of that gang. Could you imagine? You'd be like your fucking boots on the ground for fucking Indiana Jones when it first came out. Like being there filming this shit.
You know what I just played recently on my Commodore 64 emulator was Maniac Mansion. That was a Lucas Films. At that time, it was called Lucas Films Games. They later changed it to Lucas Arts. But Maniac Mansion was a George Lucas production. And that was a very, very successful video game. And I still think one of the greatest video games of all time.
The one you got to really check out if you find the time is, what is it? It's going to fucking kill me. I'm going to have to look it up real fast.
Monkey Island.
It's a game. Monkey Island. Yeah. Monkey Island's a really good one. And there was and then there's another one.
Day of the Tentacle.
It's not Day of the Tentacle, but that is a game.
That was the official Maniac Mansion sequel. But those games. Well, Day of the Tentacle was fucking crazy, and Monkey Island was crazy. Maniac Mansion had some ridiculous puzzles to solve, but they were mostly based on some sort of ridiculous logic. Day of the Tentacle was just take a toilet to the zebra poops in the toilet. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing here.
It was just like Monkey Island was the shit. I thought it was the best. It was funny as shit.
I love that video game engine. I bet there's a whole bunch of. Oh, there was a trailer park one. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure. There was no. What I'm thinking about the second one was it was a game that was made from them. I'm trying. I have it. I own it. I'm kind of looking through my shit right now to see if I can find it.
Trailer Park Maniac Mansion. Holly and I played this together. We even did a video of us trying to play it. It was the same engine. I don't even know if they use that term anymore. Thimbleweed Park.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Yeah, that's a fun one. Yeah. I don't think it's from Lucas.
It's by the guys that wrote Maniac Mansion.
Oh, okay, yeah. That seems right. That's fucking hilarious one. If you haven't played it, you got to really play that one. I was wanting to say Sam and Max, but that's not who it is. It's a different one.
I'm gonna bounce out of here, guys.
Well, before you do, you got to hear a little bit of this.
The song.
The Philip Glass theme for Candyman.
Oh yeah.
And it's so pretty and depressing and sad. And it's kind of a sad movie. Like, it's creepy and gross, but it's got this interesting heart to it. And I think this score has a lot to do with that. And it's reprised with piano and strings. And anyway,
that's solid. Is that the familiar instrument that like Korn uses in one of that songs? It's like a giant piece of glass, and it's like crystal glass, and it steps up in different steps. And what they do is they lick their fingers or something like that, and they place it on it, and it vibrates wherever they're putting their fingers. Does that ring a bell? Have you ever seen?
It sounds like a glockenspiel to me, but I don't know what it is.
Korn,
Tinker Toy plays, like piano.
Well, it's a big giant blown piece of glass, and it's how they play one of their songs, the intro to one of the Korn songs. I can't remember. Something takes a part of me.
This is not that.
It's a crazy instrument, but it's actually a real instrument. It's kind of like a theremin, You're like, what the fuck is that? Until you're like, oh wow, that's cool.
Your instrument. Well, let's get on out of here. We hope you all have enjoyed our annual Tomfoodery episode and have a safe trip if you're traveling to family. And I know this is going to be a bit of an awkward year for a lot of families. I am the only non-Trump supporter in my entire family, and the extended family is going to be there for my Thanksgiving. So if it goes to politics, I'm never shy about weighing in, and I'll express my opinions. But I think Chris checked out. So I'm going to say this. When Trump won, as my particular current political makeup was very disappointed. But I didn't lash out. It wasn't like I wasn't saying, oh, they stole this election or this is bullshit, it's fraud. I was disappointed with my country. And as we talked about a little bit ago, I'm slightly less disappointed knowing that those numbers are closer than it was initially looking. But Trump won. That's the bottom line. And I was in a dark place about it concerning my family and the people that are closest to me. And it's not just family. I have tons of friends that are conservative. And I went through this little mindset where I was ready to rage. I was ready to burn it down. And of course, with Thanksgiving coming up, it's like, I'm going to fucking lay into all these motherfuckers that brought this. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, okay, let's really break this down. And this is just personal to me. They don't agree with my politics. They don't agree with my lifestyle. They don't agree with a lot of the things that I did at Radar Station. they don't read the comment because they don't agree with some of the things that I covered there, especially my mom. But every fucking step of the way, they have been there to support me, even against knowing that they are supporting something that they are deeply against because they care about me and they appreciate me as a human being. And to this day, my mom, God bless her, and I've talked a lot of, I don't mean to talk shit about my mom, but, I'm frustrated by the QAnon thing and about her undying love for Trump. And I've been frustrated by a lot of that. But to this day, my mom still, when she sees me all haggard and tired at the end of the month, and she knows that I have to deliver my magazines and get them out, and she always asks if I need help. She'll deliver the magazines. She'll help in any way she can. My family doesn't have money, but they've always offered to help financially if they can. And they have helped financially if they can. And so I had this awakening where it's just like, well, how big of a teabag would I be if I just, had this attitude? It was like, well, I'm going to burn it all fucking to fuck all of you. I don't care what our relationship and what our past is. And I was really glad that I had that epiphany well before Thanksgiving, because I can just share my opinion and it can be as simple as that. And this is a situation where we can agree to disagree. I'm not going to burn them all down because they have been there to support me. Like the thought of my mom, my sweet, religious, Christian, Trump loving mom, is willing to help me deliver a magazine that she knows is completely opposed to what she loves and pushes and believes in. And it was like, well, if she's willing to do that, then I guess I can not burn my entire family down. So with that said, I suppose go into, I'm not telling anybody how to go about their biz concerning their family. A lot of people are disowning relatives. They're stepping away from friendships.
That's so fucking crazy to me.
Well, that's their choice.
Just be good to each other. That's it. Just be fucking good to each other. Like, just don't buy into all this other shit. Just be good to each other. If someone's doing something that you don't agree with, who fucking cares? Because that's their shit. As long as it's not hurting you or anybody else.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
And they're
just
not,
fucking let it go.
And 9 times out of 10, they're not doing it to be assholes. They're not doing it to be evil. This goes for no matter where you stand on the political spectrum or the religion spectrum, whatever. It's what speaks to them. It's what they believe. It's, their values are just as valid as your values, and they have come to their position, how they've come to it, just like you have. And that's ultimately the thing. And social media, of course, has really fucked us all up, because I think that
poisoned everybody.
We've always been to some degree, we've always been able to focus on what we all can relate to and what we all can agree on. And I think we still do that when we get into the same room with everybody. And that's where I think like holidays and these things like that, you can talk about, the fucked up history for the holidays, or, blah, 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 the history of that, whatever. But the spirit of getting together and spending time in a room together with people that you don't agree with at all, it's such a different thing than what happens on social media. And I feel like we're doing it less and less, and we should be doing it more and more. And anyway, I guess to end on a slightly Pollyanna note, I do think that this holiday is going to be tough for a lot of people, but it's also an opportunity to really step back and look at the whole picture like I did. Like I kind of felt guilty about being, so like burn it all fucking down. And I still have
don't feel guilty about that.
I still have some of those feelings.
I've seen it a lot more too, from what you're talking about, on the end of people basically like disowning their own fucking kids because they don't believe whatever politics or whatever. And it's just, to me, that perfectly good, friendships and fucking, in relationships with your family. One of the best things you could ever do, if any of you guys are hosting, is to get a basket or something you can stick by the front door and demand everybody put their phone in it, you know, and have a fucking dinner without your phone, you know, do it with, you know, conversation between family. Good tip. You know,
that's hard for a lot of people. Oh,
that's gone.
The phone addiction is a legit.
Yeah. You can't really do that unless you plan for it, you know, just do it.
My parents aren't getting any fucking younger. And if I had had some like big ass blow up with them, me trying to stand on my own principle and something happened to them or one of them, and then that was how we left things, I would be sick about that for the rest of my fucking life. And ultimately, what did I achieve by doing it other than a little bit of grandstanding and a little bit of
satisfaction.
I
showed them.
Yeah. But, you know, and then that would fade immediately. And then the regret of that exchange would live forever.
You'd be surprised, dude, on how little it takes to have a heart attack. You know
to your point,
we're all precious,
Ron,
and like fleeting.
I had a friend, you know, I had this friend for close to 3 decades where we didn't see eye to eye on everything. And in fact, like, we definitely disagreed on many, many things. And he was very challenging. He was a very challenging person, right? And he had some issues going on where he essentially liked to challenge everything. Like, he had to always question everything, like to the point where it was like, it turns out that he was probably pretty much a raging narcissist who always had to be right. And he was always looking. So here's the thing, is that his particular brand of this was that any time that anything that he saw that was happening in his life that was like, that he felt like was incorrect because somebody was like operating on like wrong information or like a wrong interpretation of something or whatever, he had to stand up and fight to oppose that, to like correct them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, that was like his mission in life, was to like always be correct and make sure everyone's doing the right thing at all times. And it's like, that's just not possible. You know what I mean? Like, I understand.
You just
like,
piss everybody off.
Or
alienate the room.
Which is what he did.
Yeah.
But I understand like where he was coming from on a base level, but it's like, you cannot get through life successfully that way. Right. And ultimately, sadly, he did not. RIP. Right. But what you're saying is like really ringing a bell there, because like I guess he was that person in my life that like challenged me on that level to try to like understand like, okay, well, why do you think this way, or where you know what I mean?
How have you gotten
here? and I had known him for long enough to where I guess I was willing to put up with enough of the things that were like opposite to what I believed, just to kind of like figure it out, because there were other things that like we did agree on, like listening to heavy metal, and you know what I mean, like playing video games, and like certain things that we like to do.
There's always common ground,
right? So, but you know, ultimately, we were never going to see eye to eye in a lot of things, but it like helped me kind of see that, like, and I don't know if it, in the end, if it really made me be able to believe that, like, because you really can't change it. What it made me realize is that you can't change people's minds.
No.
Right. But what you can do is try to find that common ground and be like as kind and loving to each other as you can be within that space. Right.
Yeah. Be supportive.
But I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think that was.
Bro, I didn't either when I started it, but I think we got somewhere. And the point is, you know, we are not prisoners of our politicians, even though I think sometimes it's easy to feel that way. We're not prisoners of our own religions or our own associations, even though it all feels that way, and we're sort of pushed in that way. It's sort of like you know, my sports team versus your sports team. but we can all get together and watch a football game, and we can all get together and watch. Music is really the biggest thing where we can all get together because, we're all Iron Maiden fans. If you think that when you walk into a stadium full of Iron Maiden fans, that you're there with everybody that votes the same way that you do, or prays to the same God, or prays to no God the way that you do, you're a dummy. You're mistaken. Vastly different people,
but you're all there.
But there we all are.
Worship at the altar of Iron Maiden and heavy metal and rock and roll. So
we need more of that. We need more of that to
Bruce
hold
Dickinson
on
for
to.
Presidents.
Oh, there you go. I'd vote in a heartbeat. Anywho, we better get the fuck out of here. We're about to hit our recording is about to hit 3 hours, but. And I got a lot of editing to do. But anyway, have a safe and happy as you possibly can Thanksgiving, and just try to be people with other people and survive it the best you can. And for those of you who are just staying home because you can't do it, well, God bless you. Listen to the podcast. Enjoy the stories, and we will see you next week because we're going to be talking about something a bit more lighthearted, the 9/11 tale. We've got some new details on that, and I hear that that's going to be a barrel of laughs. So
make sure you keep the eggnog away from Grandma. She'll be drinking.
Be kind, rewind.
Be kind, rewind. We need to go back to renting movies together as a family, don't we? All right, y'all. Tune in next week, 9/11. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Because if there's one thing a fella don't need, it's a single strand of spaghetti, you see. A spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.